They got to see. And that's some doctors and lawyers and rappers and trappers and got the shit like maybe I like my father. Oh, for the word to preach. And I got down on my knees and prayed to God that was right dog and we prayed. Praise our nation, our tongues, we prayed. Praise our black man born of a queen, but still a slave. Oh, I want to all right, one time for the one time, man. It's New York Go, aka Christmas Addicts Code for the day. We're talking politics. We're talking black liberation. We're talking all that. I have an esteemed panel. Look at that. You ain't know a nigga could even get an esteemed panel. I have an esteemed panel. The brothers, we want to discuss voting, man. We're gonna talk about a few things, man. We're gonna talk about getting our lives together in finances, man. We're gonna talk this politics thing. I just want to introduce everybody. I'm sure y'all know my man to my immediate right here. I don't know if this is technically my left. I don't know how you're saying this, but this guy, you know what I'm saying? It's Kyle, you know what I'm saying? Always good to have him on. What's up, bro?
What's up here?
Can you hear me, Kyle?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. I think y'all hear me too?
Yeah, I hear you now.
All right, cool. Yeah, this is peace to the panel. Everybody's watching. Hopefully we'll get some good information out of this, and hopefully we'll have a great dialogue that, you know, even if you don't agree, we can take something back and then process information and, you know, and further our position. So
absolutely. Right here below me, man, I got the good brother Jeremiah. Please say to y'all, don't skip the y'all part. How you feeling, man?
Yo, man, peace and blessings, man. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and honor to the Abinel Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahweh Shah, who the world calls God and Jesus Christ. Peace, black power, black liberation.
I appreciate all that. And then right down here in the corner, I had never met this brother, but he comes highly recommended. I want to give a shout out to my man Sam. Let's speak to the people, my brother.
Peace to the other panelists here. Peace to all the viewers out there. Looking forward to having a great, productive discussion. I'm just here to be a part.
Bet, man. All right, so we ain't gonna do a whole lot of yipping yet. We're gonna get right to it. Off top, man, I'm gonna start this by talking about some voting, man. I got brothers out here who for it. I got brothers out here who not for it. I personally am for voting. I believe that voting is a great tool of liberation for the people. But I'm a whole, you know what I'm saying? Y'all talk to me all the time, so it ain't really important. But I'm thinking, let's just start it off, man. Kyle, let's just get it going. How you feel? What you thinking? Like, is voting a tool that we can use? You see it right down there. Should we use voting as a tool for our advancement?
In my opinion, absolutely. I believe that we are all right, or you don't necessarily all just use a tank. You got tanks, you got airplanes, you got bombs, you got foot soldiers. You implement every method that's necessary to win, right? And if we're, in my opinion, we're looking to win, we got to use all of our available tools and resources. And I think that's a great tool for us. It allows our community to unify for the common goal. It allows us to also bring forth the things that would enhance the culture of that community.
Okay.
In voting on a local level, because on a local level, that's where you get the distribution of federal and state funds to the people. This funds education. This funds your parks and recreation board. This funds your roadways, your police force, your emergency services. I don't see why anyone would oppose to being in control of the distribution of those said funds and picking a leader that's over your community.
Okay, all right, that's a hell of a. This nigga gave us a thesis. Okay. Jesus Christ.
Yo, man, I'm on the live video stream, man.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, man, what you gotta say about that, bro?
I'll go check it out, man. We got left.
Y'all World 777.
You muted, bro. You muted.
Yo, where am I as far as voting?
Yeah. How you feel about it?
Man, my thing is this, right? Voting has caused extreme frustration in the so-called Black community, because number one, we're a minority, so it hasn't really brought any real change. I say some things have happened via voting, but it has not brought any real change or substance in the Black community that we can hold on to, as far as the things that are plaguing us as a people, right? So, should we use voting as an element or a tool to further our cause? I'm not totally against it, but I believe work in the community and actually building up the minds and the spirits of our people will make a greater impact, instead of the door completely being repeatedly shut in our face when it comes to the voting system.
Okay, all right. Appreciate that. My man Sam, what you got for me, man? Hit the unmute button.
All right. Sorry, I was trying to get my heat on there as well.
Okay, no, talking about.
As far as the voting is concerned, I wouldn't say that I'm against it. My personal paradigm and opinion is just that it's a waste of time. If you're talking about certain votes as far as for certain minor legislations or what have you, you might get away with your opinion being taken into consideration over the concerns of the lobbyists and the elite, the big bankers, the big businesses that really make the decisions, which we've seen this, historically. We can look at the historical record and see that our concerns as a people has never been met. Since slavery and the false promises of 40 acres and the mule and all of that, if we keep waiting on these folks to do something for us, we're going to continue in the same cycle of devastation, poverty, and all of that we've been in for the past 200, 300 years since we've voted. If you're talking about the presidential elections, and governors, and all of those type of elections, we are, mainly the presidential election, I know for sure, I remember from school, that the president is not elected by the popular vote anyway. The president is elected by 3/4 vote of the electoral college. And so, in other words, it's supposed to be by those people that we elect to Congress, but we know that Congress is beholden to the big bankers and the lobbyists, those who spend the money to get their ear, those who put them in office. So my paradigm is, instead of trying to play the political game, the European political game, we create our own nation and focus on our own. And we have enough money, we have enough ingenuity in the community, we have enough leaders in the community that we can focus on our own economics, our own political development. And then, just like those Ashkenazi Jews out there, then we can put folks into office and then vote for them. We can train people up from a youth to be in these positions that's going to represent us. Right now, we don't have a controlling interest. We don't have a unified economic. We don't have a unified national system. And so we're not players. It doesn't really matter what our vote is. Those folks who have the money to pay those lobbyists millions of dollars a year to either fund folk campaigns or, to groom folk for years, put them through the best of schools, take this bright young child, put them through the best of schools and all that other kind of stuff, show them the political game, put them in an arena, and make sure that they are, loyal to us, loyal to our community and our objectives. Unless we're doing that, the history itself would tell us that voting is futile. These folks don't give a heck about what you want and I want as a nation of people. They're going to do what's best for the European Western civilization. And that's just it.
I appreciate you saying that. I got that was another thesis. I'm with y'all. Y'all really laying the. Okay, I'm gonna start with you, Sam. I'm gonna ask. You said historically speaking, it has shown that voting is futile. What is it that we voted for that has shown that it is futile?
Let me give you an example. Baltimore. Baltimore is heavily Democrat. My grandmother died in Democrat. She wouldn't hear you speak of a Republican, right? Yep. So these people have ran during my lifetime. During my life, they've run Baltimore into the ground. Even our black leaders, what was that guy named? Kurt Smokes and Daniel Hinting, I think it was. They're getting all of this money off of the real estate community, but yet you leave the hood full of vacant houses, boarded up blocks and stores where they store dead bodies. And then when it's campaign time, you want to come around and shake hands and all of that. And, my father and I kind of got into it one time about that because he wanted to be jumping up. And I'm like, man, this dude don't come around unless it's election time. I don't even want to shake his hand. Well, he's a black mayor. Yeah, we've been having black Democrats run this city for the longest time. You got the highest rates of sexually transmitted disease. We always teetering between number one and number two in violence. Education-wise, we lack in education. So these folks are not doing, they said they were going to do the lottery. Please vote for the lottery. Please vote for the lottery. When I was a kid, because it's going to go toward education in schools. Well, city schools are still underdeveloped. When I was in the, matter of fact, I was 2 or 3 grades ahead of my brother. And, in the scholarship book of who's thinking I'm the it, because I'm getting scholarships. They telling me I'm on a 12th grade reading level, 11th grade math level and all of that. Well, I get to go to this historical black college, Morgan State University, and I had to take remedial math classes because I never even heard of geometry, trigonometry. What I heard, I dominated. What I was exposed to, I mastered. But I didn't even get exposed to this. So my point in giving that analogy is that, and my brother who was in the county schools, he was already light years ahead of me. He had already had geometry. He was helping me with my homework. And so what my point being is that even in my lifetime, even from my own personal experience and, being a student of history as well, I've seen that, all of this voting and, people jockeying for office and all of that other kind of stuff has done nothing but keep us at the bottom of the rung. One last thing, there was a Chinese businessman, Mr. Chang, he wrote a letter and said, why are you guys, do you guys hate the black man or what have you? It's like, nah, we don't hate them. We indifferent to them. We just care about our people. It's not that we hate them. We're just concerned about our people. So when we come into a community, we pool our resources, we build our own schools, we put our own stores in the community and all this other kind of stuff. The Indians said the same thing. Why do you guys have reparations and black folks don't? Because black folks want to integrate into a system that's not built for them. This system, no matter who you vote for, Republican or Democrat, is the same 2 heads of the same evil beast that hate you, and their laws are oppressive. We know this. It's been oppressive. They're not changing those laws, and if they do give you a little crumb here, they're going to be something on the back end, which is a string attached to that. That's historical. And since we've been voting, our community never got anything.
I'm asking.
Let me give you the statistics. There was an article that they do. It's a report. It's called the State of the Black Union or State of the African American Union or something like that. There's a report. I think one of them NAACP, one of those alphabet groups that's supposed to help black communities be concerned or whatever, did this study, bro. And we are no more off than when we first got out of slavery, when they let us out of slavery. Economically, as far as in the community-wise, the family structure and all of that, families were, even though you had slavery and families being separated, those that were able to be together, fathers stayed in the home, divorce wasn't as prevalent as it is right now in the community. That sort of thing. We had enough unity to be able to have Black Wall Street and several other organizations like that. Where we're at now, it's a sad day for the state of the African American Union, according to the statistics, the raw numbers.
I want to. That's okay. That's a lot of conflated information. If I'm making sense, I want to talk about purely the voting issue. not necessarily the state of Black America. But we're gonna come back to that. Hold on one second. Yeah, Mike, you feel the same way? How you feel about that?
Yeah, the brother brought out some great and excellent points, man. This is what I was talking about, the frustration that our people are feeling behind the voting system. Again, like we was talking about yesterday, they come and tell you one thing, yeah, vote for this, and but they don't tell you, you know, the backside end results of what would happen when you do such a thing.
Tell me that story again. You told me yesterday. Tell me about it one more time.
Well,
it was a good story. What you said about the fire wheel.
Say again.
When you told me about the fire wheel in Oklahoma. Tell the people that story right one time.
Yeah. So they were promoting to pass. They was asking the people to pass a bill that was supposedly supposed to bring jobs to Oklahoma City, and these jobs would help with the unemployment rate and the percentage of unemployment rate in Oklahoma City, right? So they're saying, yeah, you know, this is what this bill is going to do. This is what's going to help us. It's going, you know, it's going to help us, and we know that unemployment is at the top of the list when it comes to concerns of the so-called Black community, right? So this bill was eventually passed.
About twice the national average.
Right. This bill was eventually passed, and what it did was allow people to be fired for any reason at all. They don't have to give a reason. You understand? Before the bill was passed, if you know you had, oh well, this person was showing up to work late. This person had been missing days. This person have underperformed in his duties. These are the reasons why we're letting this brother go. After they passed the bill, we just don't feel like we want you here anymore. It don't matter. We don't have to give no reason, because this particular bill, which they never promoted, they never said anything on the news. They never said anything in the campaign concerning that they could fire a person for any reason, man. You understand? Which brought negative effects, because now systemic racism or racism within itself can be exercised under the guise of we can fire you for any reason. You understand? So this is another example of them being able to oppress us, right? Oppress us without having holding any responsibility to the oppression in which they apply on us.
Let me ask you, did you vote for or against that bill?
I did not vote, because at that time I could not vote. Because I'm a felon.
You in prison?
I'm a felon.
Were you on probation?
Well, that probation thing, that again, like I said, that was something that was that was something that was newly passed. You understand? We're talking about 8 to 10 years ago with this bill that I'm talking about.
With the fire law,
yeah.
Fire bill. Okay.
Right.
So you could not vote, but someone actually voted for you to be able to vote. People who were not felons took your best interest at heart and said, we should let them vote. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Right? If that same bill came up today, knowing what you know now, would you vote for or against it? Or would you still choose not to vote?
I will vote against it 1,000%, because what they promised on the front end was increased jobs. That didn't happen either. And right. Then if you ask them, yeah, I'm just saying, if you ask them about the percentage of increased jobs, you're talking about 3 to 5% being increased. But yet it opened the whole state up to be able to fire people for any reason.
But the employment rate went up. They got 3 to 5% more jobs, is what you're saying. But you're saying you don't like the whole fire whip. So if given the opportunity right now to vote to keep that around or to go back to the way it was, would you vote for or against it, or would you not vote at all?
I would vote against it.
Okay.
I would vote against it. I would vote against it if I could vote.
If you can vote. Now we look this up. You can now vote.
Right.
In your state, you off paper, you can vote. All right. So if that came around again, you would stand up and go say, I don't like that.
Right, but think about this though, brother. I'm one vote. I'm one vote. Would my one vote tip the scale from the people that are actually voting that it will go in my favor? Would my one vote tip the scale?
Yes. And here's one of the things I want to talk about. And I really wanted to bring this up.
You have to know what the percentage of the voting is before you can answer that question, right? You have to know what the percentage of it. You have to know who voted for what and know what that percentage was to answer the question on when my vote had made a difference.
True, that's very true. So let me not say unequivocally yes. Do you know the voting percentage of it?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I know the bill was passed.
So we're both stabbing at ignorance.
Right.
Okay, and that's fair. That's fair. Neither one of us know those numbers. And we can look them up. But
I got them right here.
Okay.
So in the black community, this is based on 2016 voting. 59.6% of the black community that was of voting age did vote.
Okay.
Now that being said, we all know that we are a minority. We are only about 16 to 17% of the total population.
Right.
Let's say about 8% of America went and voted. Well, we made up 9% of the vote. We made about if 59% of us that were of eligible age actually voted, we make up about 16% of the population. That's about 9% of the vote. 9% of a vote swings your vote a long way. Most elections are decided with between 1 and 5%. So 9% heavy.
I kind of want to add to the point that the brother Sam was making before I even address what Jeremiah said. That and I understand everything you said. I grew up in an urban neighborhood myself. You know what I'm saying? I live in one right now. You know, but the thing is, everything that you name as far as education, as far as crime in the neighborhood, as far as jobs and things of that sort, that's the entire purpose of the voting process. Because now your elected officials get to allocate the funds to actually encourage those things within your community. And if you have a person that you say that's not necessarily doing that, it would be advantageous to the voters to vote that person out and put someone in to replace him that will push forth the agenda of that community. And we have that ability, and a lot of people are not taking advantage of that because they feel disenfranchised from that actual voting system. I do want to share a quote with you guys right quick that I got pulled up. The quote says, and I put on the screen, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'm not going to do a presentation or something like that, but I do want to share this with y'all right quick. If I can find it. Here we go. So the quote says, it is relatively easy for citizens to overlook the services they receive on a regular basis.
Hold up, Kyle. I want you to read that again. Brother James is in the back chat.
Brother that was there.
Yeah.
I see him in the back chat, but I don't see it square down here to add it. You don't know what this screen look like.
Yeah. Tell James, go ahead and come out and come back in. Maybe the brother see you then.
Yeah. I saw it earlier and then it disappeared, and I'm sorry, I didn't click on it before you said that, but I just saw him in the back chat, so I wasn't trying to ignore you, Brother James. I apologize. I just didn't know where that came from, so I didn't move quick because I didn't know where it came from. My apologies. All right, Brother Kaya, put your square back on there. I add you in. Brother Kaya, what you got?
Can y'all see my square? I think y'all see it on the screen. It says it is relatively easy for citizens to overlook the services they receive on a regular basis. They're more likely to complain about the services when something goes wrong and blame the very system that they have the ability to change. And I fear that that's where we are in 2020. That we've not necessarily seen the change that we desired to have. And once that change did not happen, a lot of the community kind of backed away from even taking advantage of the voting process in itself. But me, I'm someone who lives in a majority Black city. I am a walking evidence of that change that we have the ability to do. Because we can vote on your own city council, you can vote on your the police chief, you can vote on, and these different people who you are voting on, these are the people that are the policy makers, that are the people who are able to change directly the things that we're wanting. Now, if you want to go patrol your own neighborhood, that's one thing. you know, but you're going to still have those unfavorables in your community that are doing a racial profiling because they're not part of your community. But if you vote for something and say, let's say you have to have people in your police force that are part of your community, which is something that's very, very feasible, then you can have people that are from your police department at a certain percentage that guarantees you that people who are going to be responding to your crimes or potential calls will be more favorable to have more empathy for you. The same thing goes with education. If we want to increase our education, we got to pay teachers. And the reality is, if I was a teacher, I got a job offer, one paying $52,000 a year, another paying $37,000. I'm going with the 52 all day. And I want to be able to provide the 52 in our community. And what we got to do is put people in those positions that have that same mindset as us, that understand that this community is directly affecting me and my offspring and my family and my cousins. And we're going to be more beneficial. We're going to be more likely to vote for these bills and push these things forward. And now you got a person that's a mayor on top of the city that's going to approve it because you put him in that position.
Let me say something real quick, if you don't mind, right?
Okay.
Because we talked about this yesterday.
Go for it, bro. Go for it.
Yeah. So we talked about this yesterday, right? So there's evidence. Say again.
He on. I hear.
Can you hear me?
I hear. Yeah, we can hear.
Okay. So
James just left.
Yeah, he'll probably jump back on. Here, so look for him at the bottom.
Okay.
All right. So the thing is, right, there's history and evidence of these people using nefarious means to manipulate the voting system.
James, I'm listening. I'm sorry. Hit the unmute button, bro. Okay, you in there now. Okay, boom. All right, go ahead, brother Jeremiah.
These people have been using nefarious, right, means to manipulate the voting system. Can we agree to that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So now this is what they're doing now. So now once our community starts to mobilize on and deal with greater numbers, how much more greater would they be working towards monopolizing the voting system within itself? How is this? You have to deal with this corruption. When you're presenting this to our community, you have to have an answer to deal with the corruption of the voting system.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, talk to
me.
us.
Let me tell you what. I want to say this. There is not a single perfect human system on the planet. You point to it, you show me the one perfect human system on the planet, and then I will deal with this issue. There is not a single your family isn't perfect. As good of a man as you are, you have not been a perfect father. As good of a brother as I am, I have not been a perfect brother. In my positions of authority, I have abused it to some degree, not even because I tried to, but if I ask the people who I had authority over, they might say I did that. That's neither here nor there. Here is the issue. Here's what I'm saying about this whole idea of voting. The idea, let me see. The idea, if it doesn't have to be perfect for me to participate.
But do you trust the system? Do you trust the system?
Let me try to put it like this. You can't fault the system because the people fucking it up. Excuse me. That's kind of what it is. Because the system is probably the greatest idea as far as government is concerned and democracy is concerned that ever hit the world. But the fact that people corrupt it isn't the fault of the system. It's the fault of the people who do it, the corruption.
Right.
And it's our job as citizens to hold those people accountable. Now, if you're not putting your vote to hold them accountable, and you're not going out and saying, hey, you're not getting this done for me, you're not getting that done for me, that's on you. But to abstain your vote altogether, then you're not doing anything positive. As far as the issue is concerned, to cast your vote, even though it's one single vote, is still a vote towards it. Because if everybody feels like my vote is just one vote, now you got 10,000 people feeling like my vote is just one vote. You know what I'm saying? Now that's 10,000 votes gone. And we need every single vote we can, because like the brother was saying earlier, votes are usually won in a very small percentage.
Yeah.
Like look at the election that happened. They won by like 1%?
It was 77%. 77,000 votes that decided their vote. 77,000 votes in a country of 390 million people. Or 350 million people. 77,000.
So your one vote matters more than you could ever think, man.
That was
It's your
2%
voice.
of the vote. 2% of the vote.
And our ancestors died for us to be able to voice that. And I think that if you see somebody doing something that you think would be good for your community, you should throw your vote in with it. Whether you think it don't come out or not, it's your job to still throw your vote in and support what you want for your community.
Right now, Brother Jeremiah, Brother Sam, Brother James, we all on here literally casting the vote, right? Brother Gaia, we are literally right now casting the vote. We are saying, I agree with this, I disagree with this. That's what we're doing right now. And if you think that voting is a waste of time, then this entire opinionated debate or conversation is a waste of time, right? You get on here. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to comment to that. Yeah, the conversation is not a waste of time because we need to have a conversation on which path is best for the community. I would ask you guys a question. I have a question for you guys. If all 40 million African Americans voted in America for reparations, do you think you're going to get it?
No.
Okay.
We're not a majority of the population.
Right, so you're wasting your time, and according to my paradigm, because listen, if you got everyone to vote, you still, what you just admitted to was that if you got every single, you met your goal, and everybody woke up and said, woo, hallelujah, yes, I'm gonna vote because these brothers said vote. All 40 million Americans not gonna do a daggone thing nowhere. Nobody listens to you. You have no juice. You have no power.
Wait, that's not true. Wait. I want to make one statement. I want to make one statement.
You're going too far.
Hold on, James. Hold on. Please let me address it. You're talking about a specific vote for a specific group of people in a specific world. Okay. There are many issues that affect us. Reparations is one issue that affects us.
I sent you my new email. Let me get in.
No, I sent you the link. Just click the link.
Okay. Two things.
So you don't need an email?
No, I sent you the link. You just click the link and come on in.
That would never appear on your
So
ballot.
I don't need to download StreamYard on my phone. I see.
Right. Second, if
What these niggas talking about, man?
The voting system, nigga.
People hop to reparations
Voting system. Come on, man. Sam on here.
They ain't gonna like it when I come on.
Man, just come on there, man, and just stay calm so people can hear your side, bro. I want people to hear you.
Reparations is just a sign.
I don't want the nigga to interrupt if you don't.
Man, bro, it's going smooth right now, bro. It's going smooth. Just come on in.
It's not because you're not contending them.
Yeah. Listen, Sam is against what they saying, bro.
Non-violent drugs.
I'm against what they saying.
All right, here
So that means that
I'm gonna try to push it, but it wouldn't work. You don't need an email?
No.
Let me try this shit. All right, let me try. Why you switching up?
In California, we legalized marijuana. Do you know what that did to our prison system? Changed the entire scope of it. Do you know how many brothers was in jail for weed, for marijuana possession or marijuana distribution? They got set free from that. They had that expunged from their record.
Let me visit that, bro. That is nothing. That's like me eating a whole steak in your face and a whole 4-course meal and dropping you some crumbs and you wagging your tail and happy like a dog with a brand new bone, bro.
So you think that $1,000 charity would get the reparations to do something?
Hold up. Can I finish? So my point being is that you guys just admitted that if everyone in America, every black person in America voted, even if they united with the Hispanics and whoever other group, the Jamaicans, other group, it still would not have no impact on the decisions that are made. I think that folk that believe, especially our people, that your vote can change anything, is experiencing delusions of grandeur, bro. So listen, let me show you something about that weed stuff, bro. Let me show you something about that weed stuff, right?
Tell me about it.
Weed is legal in
We want to stay on
weed
top.
is legal. Right, weed is legal in Baltimore, bro. The state's attorney caught a dude with pounds upon pounds, and these and she's a black chick. She caught him with pounds upon pounds, but because she didn't catch him with no in a sale, she said she's not prosecuting none of that kind of stuff. Did that stem me to crime rate in Baltimore? No, it didn't. It didn't.
Wait.
But the crime for marijuana, it does. Like those things, you can't take single incidents and then draw a massive picture out of single incidents. That's what you did with reparations just a second ago. You took reparations and made it, since we couldn't change reparations us on our own, that means we can't change other issues where masses of other communities also agree with us.
Right.
Our vote matters on a plethora of issues, not one. Because of the fact that we're only like 12% of America, of course, if it was put to a vote where 100% get the vote and only 12% was the vote on it, and say they got some help from another 20%, they got the 32%, that still ain't gonna beat the other 68.
Hey, real quick, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, family.
I want to make one quick statement.
Yeah, hey, Sebastian, hold up, Sebastian, hold up.
One thing. I promise. One thing.
I just want to tell you that the brothers in the back chat, he's trying to come on. That's all I'm telling you. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't see a square. If black people went out to vote for reparations, if the 41 million of us went out to vote for reparations and white people didn't vote, I don't see a square, bro. I promise to God, I'm looking at it right now. If 41 million black people went out to vote for reparations and no one else voted, we would absolutely get reparations. In other words, wait.
That's crazy, man. You got other country telling the United States, including England and Africa.
Hear what I'm saying. If it came to a vote and white people thought the way you think, if they thought my vote doesn't matter, I'm not gonna vote, and we went and voted for reparations, and no one else voted against it, we would have reparations. The reason that this doesn't work is because some people actually get up and vote. So somebody would get up and vote against your reparations. It would have to be, otherwise you would win the vote.
Let me show you something, bro. Yeah. Let me show you something, bro. That's a lot of wishful thinking, bro. You got the United Nations did a report that says blacks in America need reparations.
Absolutely.
You got Iran. You got countries in Africa threatening to stop doing business and stop dealing with the dollar. And you think that you, without any national polity behind you, are going to change something?
No,
we need
bro.
to wait.
Listen what I said, bro.
Give me 10 seconds and I'm finished.
Okay.
Especially when you got the folks that control the country telling you, I don't give a hell what kind of laws you make. As long as I control the money, then your laws is not going to stop.
I just told him you was back there. He said he don't see you.
I think it's
listen to what I said. If no one voted against it, listen to what I said. I made a very, very
1-0 wins every time.
1-0 wins every time. So if someone thought the way you think, if white people en masse thought, well, my vote about that wouldn't matter, I'm not gonna cast a vote.
And who's gonna tell you who that vote come from?
Well, no.
I think it's. I know, and I'm following the scenario,
okay.
and folks say that George Bush didn't win the vote when he won it, right? They said the other dude, I forget who he ran against, say he actually won the election, that George Bush tampered with the election. So in other words, these folks been telling you for hundreds of years that they controlled them votes. And then Donald Trump, the reason why we didn't vote for Donald Trump, a lot of black folks was voting against him too. And I see he's still in there. But anyway, they blame it on the Russians. They say the Russians tampered with the and I've been following that. They said they say the Russians tampered with the voting process and all of that, and they've been tampering with the process for a long time.
But they couldn't bring no evidence in 7 months of a trial.
Man, I'm just talking about Congress.
They brought tons of evidence that they were tampering with it, but nothing tampered with the vote. Nothing tampered with the actual tally of votes. We have no way of proving that anything was happening to the actual tally of votes. I want to make sure
that voting stuff is just a gimmick to get you
to get you to do what?
I was about to.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I got excited about that. To get you to do what? I'm sorry.
Right. It's just a gimmick to get you off course and get you thinking that you invested in the system. When I went to school for business, if you want to put a group or a team together, you got to make them feel like, and in Bible college, they taught psychology in Bible college as well. You got to get people involved in it. Let them participate. If they participate and feel like that they are part of it, then they're going to be more loyal and more committed to protecting your investment than you are. Case in point, your employer.
Hey, hold up, man. Do you see the brother? Do you see the brother in the back chat, Sebastian?
I want to ask you a question. Give me 1 second, bro. Give me 1 second.
No, I'm just asking you to look for the brother in the back chat. That's all.
I do see them.
Okay, good.
Brother Sam, are you a business owner?
Yes.
Okay. Are you invested in the American economy?
What do you mean?
You own a business in America, right?
Yes.
Okay. So your business depends on the American economy, right? People support your business based on the money. Okay. So you're a part of the American political system, whether you vote or not. Right? You are invested in the American political system. Okay. So if I ask you, if I say, Brother Sam, would you like me to raise your taxes or lower your taxes? Which would you choose?
If you was the American government, I'll tell you go do what you do. Because like bro said, you don't get to charge me more.
Let him finish this. I asked that question. Here was statement. My brother, say it again.
Yeah. Because like Brother Jeremiah said, we know that what you get to see and what you hear about these bills, it's not the whole 1,000-page, 5,000 with a whole bunch of other filler and stuff that you don't agree to, bills which are not advertised. So
have you ever read a bill?
Know this.
Have you ever read a bill?
Yes. I read a bill. I was a part of the student government when I was in college. Yes,
so
and I had to go down to the city hall. Yes.
You can go online. Hey, that's fine. We can go online and look at it. Let's move forward.
Right. So you, in other words, it doesn't matter what they advertise. You can read it yourself.
My point being is it's a lot of stuff that's a part of those bills, which we know everybody sitting on this platform and everybody under the sound of my voice know that they put in the bills. In order for you to get those bills.
Hear what I'm saying? You're saying that there are things in the bill.
Let me ask you a question. Do most people read it? And then the people that read it, do most people understand the legal jargon? Are they trained legally enough to understand this stuff?
They're not legal jargon. They're not swamped in legal
jargon. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Bills aren't written in legal jargon.
Say what?
Bills aren't written in legal jargon.
Bills are written in legal jargon.
Would you like to read
it? They're not swamped in legal jargon, which means that they're not so filled with legal jargon layman couldn't understand.
Hey, Sebastian, are you gonna bring the brother on? He's asking to come on.
Not yet, bro. I'm fucking this chicken. Let me hold a leg. You made me wait for an hour to even start this. I can't make you wait for 10 minutes. Let me hold the legs, bro. I got it. We build it right now. There's no point in adding somebody new to a bill. We just keep going, bro. Continue, bro, Sam.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, bro, this whole voting thing, bro. I'm just a logical person. I look at the facts. I open my eyes. I look around me. I don't need no spooky stuff from the sky. I don't need the government's rhetoric. You asked about me supporting the system. I do what I have to as being a part of the system, what I'm forced to do. But what I'm doing at the same time is what I'm doing right now, trying to educate myself to get the heck out of the system and stop.
How do you get out of the system? Let's talk about that. That's the point. How do you get out of the system?
Well, I got a question first before we go down that rabbit hole.
Okay, bro.
And stop so much. focusing on the European system and focus on building our own system. That's how you address that.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate it. But James, make the point.
Okay. Well, I guess I will make a point in that question.
Okay.
So what I say, it's more. I think personally, logically speaking, that it's better to say what you want than not say what you want. That's just the way I was raised. Tell people what it is you want. It's better to do that than to just hold your mouth silent, because then you'll never get nothing in life. So I see that vote as telling them what I want, giving myself the right to complain when something ain't done. I don't think a person has a right to complain about things that are not done when they're not trying to make sure they're getting it done by whatever means they can. And the question I would ask is, do you think it's better to just not give your opinion whatsoever on the issue, or to give it, which is better?
I think it's better to give. I think it's better to give your opinion, bro. I'm not saying not to give your opinion. We can voice our opinion without. Wait. Let me finish. We can voice our opinion and our position without being a part of the system, without trying to gather by having a representative, just like Russia voices its opinion to the United States, just like England.
But they voted on their representative.
Africa, yeah, they voted. Their people voted. United States
In their nation, they voted. Yes.
Right, but where's your nation?
America is my nation.
Oh. Well, I mean, that's where you're born. That's where you're national.
That's literally your nationality.
By definition. That's your nation.
That's the problem right there, because you got a lot of Indians that's born right here in this part, but they got their own territory, they got their own land and their own government, right?
But they participated in government. They participated in our government.
Because this is their land. Number one, America literally pays them rent on the land. That's what they're paying about.
Right.
They literally pay rent on their land. So that's a whole different subject, because we don't have a land.
It's not.
They ain't paying us for our land.
And you know why you don't have a land?
If the issue is land, slow down. If the issue is land, then everyone who's complaining about having their own landmass needs to either figure out a way to get their own country, or realize that, wait a minute, I am within this country, and I need to take advantage of everything I can to make sure my people prosper in this country, including the voting process.
And Native Americans do participate in the political process. They do have a representative in Congress.
Exactly, I understand that, but they have their own national identity. And these folk who have achieved, now listen, if I'm trying to do something, I'm trying to get somewhere that somebody else is, like when I wanted to start in the real estate business and all of that, I went and found a brother who was already doing what I wanted to do. He was already where, an older gentleman, he was already where I wanted to be. And so I allowed him to mentor me. I trained under him. Not everything he told me was right and honest and up and this and that. But I learned from him to be able to get where I'm at. I said that for a reason. The Indians have their own nationality. They were suffering the same time that we were suffering, right? They went through this American invasion and colonization and debacle like we did, right? But somehow they were able to get land. Somehow they were able to get recognized as a separate identity. And somehow they were able to have some form of independent government on their reservations or on their land, right?
Wait, pause. They voted on that.
No,
it's not no voting. It was a treaty. It's the treaty that was made, and you know why them folks.
Okay.
Let me finish.
I'm gonna go with it. We're gonna talk about how we get to treaties in just a second. Go for it.
We don't have to guess why they got it. They told us. There is a statement that was issued from the Indian people, and they said, while you guys was groveling with MLK and trying to integrate into this system, we fought to remain separate. The same thing you doing now. Instead of, who you want to be president? Trump or this one? Oh, I want Brother Jeremiah. My brother.
Let me say one more time. Pause.
It's representation at every
Yes. The Native American people participate in the American government. They vote for a representative. They vote for president. Native Americans still vote. They still vote.
Maybe they do. I don't know if they do or not. I don't know if Native Americans vote or not. The only thing I know is what officially came out of their community and said that the reason why black folks haven't got reparations and the Indians have, the Germans have, the Japanese have, all of these people across the world are able to get reparations. The reason why you are not taken serious is because you do not have a national identity with
Now
a
we're talking
land.
about something completely different. Stay with me.
No, we're not.
Yes,
We're
I'm
not.
talking about
We're not.
Native American vote. Yes,
Native
they
Americans.
do. They have a
Let me ask you
representative
this:
in Congress.
are they their own nation or no?
Yes. That has nothing to do
Right.
with voting.
So
That has nothing to do with voting.
I can't believe you're not seeing this, dude.
Tell me how this has to do with voting.
You're not seeing it.
Tell me how this has to do with
What it
voting.
has, because they have a national representative to represent their national interests. What part of that
But
are
they
y'all
voted
not
on that now. They voted on
Do you
that.
Okay,
So
well,
what
let's
is
go
the Black
today.
National Congress? Hold up, what is the Black National Congress?
It's garbage. That's what it is. A farce.
But
But anyway,
it is a group of people put together to represent our needs, right?
do you
They're
have a
all
nation?
government liaisons that we voted into
How
office.
do
That's
we
what
get
they
to
are.
a nation?
Okay, and
we're talking about
and-
nation building on another step. Nation building is another step.
Now, I
I
brought it
want to
back
talk
to that's why I
about
brought it back to
voting.
that. That's why I brought it back
Us
to our
having a nation
government
is
liaisons.
separate.
that-
Us having a nation is different.
right.
The
I
Black
don't see how you
National
can
Congress
do
is our government liaisons that we voted into office, which would be the same thing like the Native Americans have. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. So Brother Sam,
And
tell
what
me how.
nation do they represent? What group of people do they represent?
They
What nation
represent
do
African Americans. That's why they're the Black
No, they
National
don't.
Congress. Okay, cool.
No,
problem.
they
You
don't.
know.
They don't. They don't.
Okay.
They represent Americans. That's what they represent.
Fair enough,
Because
fair
they're not going to make law. They're not going to make laws, or they don't have the power to make any kind of laws that's going to bring any real kind of deliverance to you. And you've seen that
Fair
in
enough.
200 years.
I'm gonna give you that. But take me back to this. Let's say everything you just said, Brother Sam, was absolutely correct. We should build a nation. If we're gonna build a nation in America, we still should vote because Native Americans do that. Chinese people who do all their own shit, they vote. Indian people who do all their own shit, they vote. Korean people that do all their own shit, they vote.
If you remember, I never said that I was against voting.
Okay.
What I said was we need to get our own self together and consolidate with a national mindset. You know why? This is why I keep bringing it back to the nation, because you do not get respect on the playing field unless you are a nation.
Fair.
In other words, what I'm saying
I'm
is,
agree with you. Wait. I agree with you, brother. How would we pick a platform? In other words, if you said right now, I need to get 41 people to decide on what we want right now, how would we pick what we want right now? We would have to vote on it.
Right. Bro, listen, I just said I'm noting what I'm saying.
You're breaking up, brother. You're breaking up.
Now, okay, I was saying I'm not. Can you hear me now?
I can't, bro.
Yeah. No, what I was saying is I'm not against voting. I don't tell people not to vote. You should, if you want to voice your opinion. I don't personally waste my time because I know it's not going to change. The rest of the world, the only people that are those folks that have their own community, since you don't like the word nation, but their own community is unified and say, these are our representatives. These are the people these are the people that's going to speak for us and represent us. And when they don't, if they don't achieve, these people should be coming back telling us, like, this is the move, this is what we need to do, they about to pass this bill. But unfortunately, what we've seen is when you get these folks like your Jesse Jacksons and your Al Ratone Sharpton, and all of that, when you get these people, they get sold out to the system.
Okay.
The United
So
States.
let me ask you a
We don't
question.
vote for them though.
Can I say something right quick? I think about
Yes, sir.
I think that the conversation has gone a little bit farther than what we anticipated initially, because we're not necessarily even discussing the benefits of voting. We're only talking about things that we're compilating different ideas.
Yeah.
We're superimposing them over voting, right? And what I'm saying is, I'm not a firm believer that the voting on a federal level has a substantial benefit to us. Matter of fact, I have a lot of
Go. Let me explain. Go ahead.
I'm saying that if we are looking for change, we all know that change comes from within, right? And so I'm saying that we need to start voting on our local communities, on our legislation, on our local communities. We need to then go to the citywide level or the countywide level, then go to the governor voting system, and put people that we need that will push forth our agenda publicly. And so, like when we were talking about the whole reparations thing, the reason why we don't have reparations today is because we did not vote people into power that will sit in the House or the Senate that will share our ideas and push forth the agenda of us getting reparations.
I would also like to make one comment about reparations. And I have to make, well, actually, before I make that comment, I want to make one other comment. So let me make two comments. I'm only doing this because it is my show. Okay. First of which, my brother Sam made the statement that said we need to elect our own representatives who go and speak to Congress. Now, the weird thing about that is we literally have a system where you can vote your own representative that represents just your community. It's called the House of Representatives. Like this literally already exists. So you can literally vote for him. Let me make the two statements. You can literally vote for someone to go and speak and come back and tell you, hey, this is the movie. This is what's going on. These are the. That's what your House of Representatives is for. That's literally what they do for a living. You get to vote for them. Okay, that's one. Second piece. Let me go back to again, because for whatever reason we want to talk about reparations and nation building and all that, which I think is very, very important. I'm not trying to discount that. I'm not trying to discount that at all. But we are sitting here as proof. I'm not going to say that. We are sitting here as proof positive that with a little political action and a little work of our own, we can accomplish that. I am the son of two Black people from Birmingham, Alabama. I was not a millionaire. I was not born into $1 million. I did not. Okay. But through political action and some work, I am now a millionaire. I'm sitting in $1 million home as we speak. That is part my work, part the politics. Right? Part of this just had to do with, man, you worked hard, you were an exception to said rule. But if the law would not allow me to get this, I would not be here. A part of the reason that I am this successful is because there is legislation in place. I own a marijuana farm. That's a part of how I make my money. Legislation had to be in place for me to do that. I own restaurants where I see Black people right next to white people. Legislation had to be in place to allow me to do that. I own a construction company where I build homes for Black people and white people. Well, I renovate homes for Black people and white people. Legislation had to be in place for me to do that. I go down, I apply for licenses and right. So in other words, I participate in this system in every facet. Right. So do you. When you go buy gas, legislation tells you how much that gas is going to be. When you go pay your rent, legislation tells you if we can control this rent or if we can't. When you go pay your power bill, legislation tells that if we can control the power bill or we can't. All right, so all of these things, every piece of this affects my everyday life. I do not, like my brother said, he's not saying he's against voting. He just feels like it is a waste of time, which I'm not here to convince anybody to do anything. It's not my job. I really just wanted to hear the conversation. Right? But if these things affect your life personally, I'm gonna pass this to Jeremiah because he had said. So if these things affect your life personally, can you give me one reason? Because right now we're voicing our opinions about this. We're casting votes. And we're casting it on a European system. We on Facebook. We don't own this shit either. Okay? If these things affect your life on a day-by-day basis, why wouldn't you take the opportunity to say, here's my opinion on it, whether it changed the thing or not? Because this don't change the thing at all either, but we still casting our opinion. Brother Jeremiah.
Yeah, man, good dialogue, man. There's a wide ranging variations through the conversation that we're having, right? So some are reaching on federal issues, some are speaking on local issues, and voting at the core of it, right? Voting is about numbers. Now, y'all correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
Voting is about numbers.
Absolutely.
So let me get this straight. So now, throughout, let's say you have a city, right? So you have 4 sections of the city. There are Black people in each section, whether it be the wealthy section, poor section, middle class section. Black people are minority in each section except for the poor section.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So now, when we're talking about representatives, now educate me. When we're talking about representatives, there's a representative for the entire state. Or is there a representative for each section of the state?
There are representatives for each district in the state. Yes, you're in the House of Representatives. Your state is divided into representative districts, right? And so there is one representative for each district in the state.
Okay, so when you're looking at the voting numbers, the numbers that are counted for the voting system, right? And a person's mind, how a person's mindset affects that process. So if a person is coming from a ownership position, meaning when I say ownership, meaning either owning your own business, owning your own home, right? So these people's concerns are not the same concerns for someone who does not own nothing.
Okay, fair enough.
Right? So now once these particular things are being placed on the table, that we got the representative that we want. The representative take the wants of that particular community to the nation or to the government or to wherever he takes it, and those bills are being cast down. What do we say about the voting system within itself, seeing that we are the minority? We will never win in majority numbers. We will never win in majority numbers.
Hold on. Wait. I really want to address this. 2 things, and I'm gonna pass this right to you, but James, I promise. Okay. Let's start with numbers. Okay. You said that there is a rich section and a middle class section and a working class section and a poor section. Which is the most populated section? Are there more rich people or poor people?
Poor.
Now I'm asking Brother Jeremiah. Are there more rich people here or poor people?
Depends on which section you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about let's use your whole city. Let's use your entire city. Are there more rich people in your city or poor people?
It's more poor.
More poor people. You told me earlier that voting was about numbers. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that means poor people, whether they are Black or white, have very similar problems. Is that true?
Yes.
Wherever you find poor people, you find more crime. Is that true?
Yeah.
Wherever you find poor people, you find worse education. Is that true?
Yeah.
Wherever you find poor people, you find worse health care. Is that true?
Facts.
Okay. So that means that all of those poor people have one common goal. They have the same common issues. Now you might have specific issues in being poor. I might be gay and poor. And so my voice in my being gay might not go that far, depending on how liberal or how conservative that community is. But all of us need better schools. My gay ass, your straight ass needs better. I'm not gay. The gay person and the straight person, they still need better schools. They're poor. All those poor people is a number. But if the poor people think, oh, the rich people control it all, they don't get out in numbers. Just said voting is about numbers. Politics is about understanding how to move your agenda with others' agenda. It's politics, right? It's not politics. It's politics.
It's negotiate. Yeah.
It's negotiate, right? So if you're saying, hey, I don't want to vote because I don't get exactly what I want, well, then you're missing the point. The point of this whole thing is how do I put what I want in with what you want? Remember how you talked about the bill, how you said, man, the bill, they don't tell you about the back end, but that means they negotiated. Hey, I need a little bit of this, In order to give you this, I got to have this. It's negotiating, right? So in order for me to give you this, I need this. Negotiation skill. Here, and I'm
bro, I got it. This is not about no damn negotiation, brother. This is about manipulation and lies and deception. That's what it's about, bro. Who can manipulate and deceive the best, bro? That's what it's about.
That's why I want to pass the question. I'm gonna ask you a question. Are you a part of the majority or the minority in your religious worldview?
What do you mean by that?
Jeremiah.
A minority.
Are you a part of the minority? Does that stop you from showing up on corners and voicing your opinion about your worldview to try to change others' worldviews?
No.
So even though you know that you are in the minority, you knew that when you woke up this morning, I am the minority. You still went out in public and said, hey, I need you to know this. This affects me, and I believe it affects you. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. So you casted a vote in public. I agree with y'all. You should agree with them too. Whether it was going to win the whole world over or just one nigga today, you went out there and casted that vote. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. In a white system, in a white city where don't nobody want to hear shit you got to say, you still went out there and you said it anyway, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then why wouldn't you do it here? You are the type of man who will fight against the majority. You have to be in order to be a Hebrew Israelite. You are the type of man who will fight against the majority, right?
Yeah.
Whether you win or lose, right?
Right.
Then why would you change your mind in this situation?
Because of the system, brother.
You feel in the system, brother?
Brother. I listen to you, right? Because of the system and the manipulation and lies of the system within itself. Listen, why are these people allowed to pay? Why is there a such thing as lobbyists, bro? Why is there a such thing as lobbyists, bro? Brother, listen to me carefully, brother.
I'm asking you a very simple question. Were they lying to you?
Say again?
Were you lied to about God?
Yes.
Once you found out that what you consider the truth about that, didn't you go and lobby for it? Aren't you lobbying every time you hit the street corner?
Yes.
Okay, so you exist in a system of lobbying.
Right.
Okay, so you understand lobbying.
Yeah, no, but hold up, brother. Hold up, brother. Lobbying, what you trying to compare, don't compare. All right? Because I can go out and campaign. I'm not lobbying. I'm not lobbying at all. I'm campaigning. If we want to use voter terms, right? We want to use voter terms. What I would be doing is campaign, not lobbying. Because I'm not paying. Well, look it up, brother. I'm not the definition man. Okay.
Because I'm gonna tell you what it is. I want to know what, because you said
he's saying that he would be more in the position of the politician than the person out there waving their hands and stuff, yelling and screaming and stuff like that. That's
okay. Let's talk about what a lobby really is. A lobby is a small special interest group that would like to advance their agenda.
Small? Why did you add the word small?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's a special interest group. So in other words, if we're lobbying for gay people make up 3% of the population. They don't have enough people together to move an agenda. So what they do is they give it a lobbying firm. The lobbying firm goes and talks to the people that they can't talk to, and they say, hey, there is this small group of people over here that want to do this, but they don't have enough numbers collectively to get that done. Let me talk in your ear and tell you why that would be beneficial.
Why? What is giving them access to get someone's ear?
I'm trying to tell you, listen. So the same thing that gives you access to get my ear. So
hell no, brother. Listen. Tell the people that the only way they're getting the people's ear is through money. Money is how they get in the person's ear, brother. Oh my God, bro.
This is what I'm telling you. Okay, first and foremost, you didn't even want to tell me what a lobby was. All of a sudden, you know.
No, brother. So let me get this straight. Now, you correct me if I'm wrong. Is money a part of lobbying? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so don't act like I'm saying I'm bringing an element that is not there. And the only reason that these people are getting their ears.
You said that money gets to the people, and that's not true. But if it gets people's ears, let me show you how. Money gets my ear when you go stand on the corner. Did you know that?
No.
You're saying I didn't spend it in money. Let me explain why money gets my ear. Let me show you. Because if there was no street there, if there was no corner there for you to stand on, you couldn't get my ear. We had to spend
that's not true at all. That is not true at all, brother. No, it's not. Because you could go out on a damn dirt road. You can go out on a damn dirt road and still get the attention of people, brother. Stop it, bro.
So you prophesy in the middle of the woods.
Brother, no, I don't. What I'm saying is, when you go into
come back.
Streets
Wait.
are not the brother.
Stop. Are you doing this in a place where there is money?
Am I doing what?
Answer. Are you ministering your gospel? Are you lobbying, or are you politicking to the people in a place where there is money?
Yes.
Okay, so money is a part of your politics.
No. Because when let me respond to you, brother. Let me respond. What we do on the street corners, money is not involved. There's not a transaction. I don't have to go over here and pay this guy. Let me pay this person so I can go over and stand on the corner. No, I don't say no.
Yes, you did. How did that street get there? Who paid for it?
Brother, that is ridiculous, brother. That is really, brother. Again, I don't give a damn if it's a dirt road. Okay, they don't have nothing to do.
Done this on a dirt road?
Bro, yeah, I have. Yes, I have.
In the woods, you did in the woods, where no money was being made.
Yes, I have.
Preach to the trees.
There was people there. It's called the Feast of Tabernacle. Yeah, it's called the Feast of Tabernacle. I have done this.
You preaching to people in the Feast of Tabernacle.
In the woods with no streets involved at all. Yes.
You bought food. There was money there.
Bro. You're using streets. Listen, bro. You're using streets as if that has something to do with the money that people are paying, lobbyists are paying in order for their agenda to be heard. They are paying money for their agenda to be heard. Am I lying? Am I telling the truth?
Yes, you're lying.
Okay, so lobbyists are not paying money for their agenda to be heard.
No.
Wow. God damn. Let me look this up. This is ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, you should look that up. You should really look that up before you make that statement.
So money don't have nothing to do with lobbying.
I didn't say money didn't have anything to do with lobbying. To do this again. What you're saying is that is money involved? Yes. There's a difference between money being involved and paying money to get your agenda heard. It's not the same thing. Not the same thing.
How not?
Can I comment on that?
I will tell you. Just say, go, Brother James.
That's Sam.
That was Sam. Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on what my brother said. This is a capitalistic society. They've changed the designation from a democracy to whatever, I forget the new designation that they changed it to. But it's a
Democratic Republic.
Right. So yeah. It's capitalistic, bro. The political system, like bro said, is run by money. There's nobody that's watching this program, that's on this panel, would tell you otherwise. If you got the money, then you get your agenda heard. If you don't, then your concerns tend to go unattended to. And this is what, bro, the point I think bro was trying to make there. Now, I got a question as well. How long?
Hold up before you ask your question, real quick. James trying to get back on. James trying to get back on. That's it.
Okay, I got James. I see James. Got him right here. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. How long have we had this Republican, this Black Republican representative system that we've had?
How long have we had a republic?
How long have we had the Black Republican, Democrat, whatever, Democratic Republic, the Black organization that y'all was speaking about? How long have we had that?
Oh, the Black Caucus. Black Caucus has existed since we've had Black people in Congress, so I guess about 60 years.
Right. The Robert Smalls, I think it was the first politician or what have you. That was a long time ago, bro. We talking centuries ago, bro. Centuries that we've had this. We've also recently had elected that we elected because I voted too. I broke my code and voted for the black brother to get in there. I did. I ain't even gonna lie.
Okay.
But
Baltimore,
right.
Just locally. Okay, I just want to understand what the election was. Go ahead, bro.
No. I said that no. This is Obama for Obama.
Oh, okay, for Obama. Okay, for Obama.
Right. The highest office in the country. Right. Now, if we've done what you guys said to do, let's come together. Let's vote people in. I think, like myself, I hadn't voted in decades until Barack Obama was on the platform. I didn't agree with him because I am a registered Republican, so I didn't agree with his politics at all. But he was a black man.
Okay.
But he was a black man. So, and I'm just being real. I'm gonna get a black man to try and be a part of history and get him on up in there. That was the only reason why I stepped and cast my vote. So it had nothing to do with his politics. But my point being is that we've done these things. We've elected folk we've elected our own representatives. We've had this system going on, as you guys admitted, for over 2 centuries now, over 3 centuries now. We're going on. We've had these systems, and it has not done anything for us. It has not. It has not stopped us. The inherent racism that's inherent in.
Wait. Let me ask you a question. Is politics designed to stop racism?
Yes.
How?
Through voting.
Because you vote.
Wait. Show me how a vote can change racism. Yeah.
Okay, you vote that and you outlaw racist practices. You outlaw. You don't allow your judges to throw to take money from black kids and all of that, from take money to send black kids to specific institutions. You don't do those things. And when it's done,
hold on, come back. That's done through voting? Tell me again.
Yes.
Okay, what's the proposition that would be done
through voting? They would introduce it.
What proposition would be introduced to change?
I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, what proposition?
So if we're casting a vote, let me do what I did for my brother Jeremiah. Okay. So voting is quite systematic. There are several levels to it, right? Okay. There are your local vote, like your city vote. There's a county vote. There's a state vote.
Right, bro. Right.
So at what level of voting would you have to participate in to change? Let's say.
You have to be on the congressional. You would have to be on the congressional level because those are the ones that pass the laws.
Well, no. That's not. There are tons of laws in America. Not all of them are passed by Congress. You have city laws.
But we're talking on the federal level, though.
Okay, so you're talking about when somebody goes to see a federal judge, and then a federal judge throws a book at a certain person. So you're talking about criminal reform or justice reform.
Oh, right? No. See, I'm talking about the whole system as a whole.
Take one piece at a time. Right? Like you talked about how judges.
From the local level to the top level, it's no difference. It's all the same, bro.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Okay. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, which is a 73% black city. That's where I'm from. 73% black. My city council has always been black. My mayor has always been black. My board of education has always been black. I can vouch for the fact that black people do good things for black people. Vouch for it. In my city, just this year, we passed a law called the Birmingham Promise. Mel Whippen, shout out to brother Mel Whippen, that's my boy. Passed a law called the Birmingham Promise that if you graduate high school with a 2.5 or better, you can go to our biggest school in the state for free.
Okay, great. Now do this for me. Do this for me. Go ahead. Pull up the poverty rate in Birmingham, Alabama, and the employment rate. And do that. No, I don't want your opinion, bro.
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Pull it up and see how it rates on the national level.
Absolutely. We're broke as fuck. I'm in the brokest state in America.
Right.
I'm in the brokest state in America.
Did you just hear what you just said? You still in the broken. I knew that.
I also live in a city that has the richest neighborhood in America.
Actually, well,
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
That's showing a great divide.
Wait. Let's talk facts now. We're talking facts. I like it. I live in a city that has the richest neighborhood in America. Absolutely. I do. In the poorest state in America. I didn't live there.
Atlanta got Bankhead. Maryland has Montgomery County.
I live in I'm very familiar with the richest neighborhood in America.
And I bet you when you compare that to other richest neighborhoods, you're going to have the highest rate of disease, violence, even in those rich neighborhoods.
No. Like low violence in that neighborhood? Absolutely. Listen, bro,
especially if you got black leaders. Especially. And in particular, if you got black politicians over there.
Paul, listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. About to put off on my city. Let me put off on my city where I'm from. Wait.
Come on, T-Pain. Let T-Pain go.
I got to put off on my city. Hold on. That's DC. I don't know about DC. I'm from Berkeley. Right. I'm from where I'm from. Right. And
but then you're taking one part and like you just try to say I was going.
You're taking one part too. You're taking one part too. So
you're not taking the.
Wait. No, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
You're telling me about what I'm saying.
Listen to what I'm saying. I am from a place that is majority black. Right. So I address first the issue of numbers, right? We are 73% black, right? It's a very black area. Everybody where I'm from is black. Our entire political structure is black. Absolute fact. So now this goes back to when you were talking about building a nation, right? In other words, bringing a collective of black people together in one landmass to move a thing. That was the point of building a nation.
No, because we already proved together in one landmass. That's why you got redlining. That's why your bank drew a line around the zip code, even though it's illegal, drew a line around the zip code, and they're going to approve you. If they approve your mortgage, you're going to get higher interest rates.
Right.
Let's not do redlining yet. Okay,
I'm making it relevant. My point being in a collective, you had made a statement about, we're gonna geographically be in one location. That's not the issue. The issue is mentally being in the same position.
There you go. I like this, Sam. I like this.
Yeah,
I like this. So let me use my city again. I'll show you a great example of such. I like this because when you get a bunch of people in one area to vote for one thing, they get it. I like this.
Yeah, unless you can show me black hospitals owned by y'all poor folk, black banks, and black Wall Street down there, bro.
Wait. Stick around me, bro. I like you. I like that, Sam. Let me start again.
It's nothing that you can show me that you having a whole black people in charge. Having the highest rate of poverty and everything.
Hey, Kyle. Unmute yourself, bro. Hey, Kyle. Hey, can you hear me, bro? Wait. Let me get him on. I want to make sure. Can you hear me, bro? Oh, maybe you can't hear me. Kyle and I right now are building a black bank for that area. Right now. Right this minute. Cool. Okay, wait. You talked about a black Wall Street. I am currently building said thing in my city right now.
Bro, I know of several groups that's been going on for decades. My boy.
No, not even decades. I've only been moving for 3 years. I'm already.
Hear me out, bro. Hear me out, bro. Hear me out.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, I know groups just like the one that you just got started. Is one in particular out in Ohio. Them brothers affluent.
Your mic is muted, James. Hello? I can't hear you because your mic is muted. You muted your mic. Unmute your mic, James. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. Your mic is muted. Unmute your mic on your side. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro, Sam. I'm sorry.
Right. No, so I know of these groups. They I'm not saying that they don't exist. Bro, you got them, they exist. And man, you got the Black Boule, bro. The Black Secret Society. I'm not saying that you are. What I'm saying is you got these groups that come together. you know, a group of them, and what they do, it end up doing is oppressing the people so that they can position themselves between the European westernized system
Right.
and the people, and still rule over their people. We got these systems all across America. I personally know groups. I'm personally a part of some of these groups. But when it comes to really saying, I'm going to put my nation first, I'm going to put the community first, they not doing that, bro. You can have millions of, bro.
This is what I'm telling you.
Bro,
I am.
you are only one individual, bro.
No, I'm not just one individual. I work with a group.
One individual.
I work
And
with
it
a group of
starts with,
individuals. It starts
okay,
with
cool.
one, but I worked in a group. And I
So
can
we
show
got a
you
group.
this.
We got a
This
group
ain't
over
what I'm
here
doing.
too, bro. So we got a group over here too, bro. We getting people cleaned up, getting their credit cleaned up, getting them
Yeah,
100,
so you're
200,
moving.
300 grand in 3 or 4 days, putting them on with the building the asset business, getting financial freedom in 1 year, and teaching it to the youth, bringing it to the youth.
So you're doing
college
things.
kids and stuff like that. So yeah, bro, we can talk and get together. But my point being is
It still
that
says you're muted, James. It still says you're muted. Continue.
unless we
Okay.
come together as a collective, bro, the only thing we're going to be doing is doing the same thing that Boule been doing, and they've been around hundreds of years. We're going to get our own little clique together, and we're going to do what's best in the best interest of our own clique. And, and that's not doing it. That's not doing
service by continuing to use the past to talk about what we can do today. Because in the past, a lot of these things have applied to us elders back and everything. But today, a lot more opportunities are available to us. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother was saying earlier about the whole voting thing. Like the opportunity for us to make these changes are here now, today, that we couldn't do in the past. If these politicians are being found out being corrupt left and right today because of social media, different things like that, that makes it harder for them not to do the things they say they're going to do. So this is a point in time where I think we can take advantage of it. Not 20 years ago, not 30 years ago, nah, we couldn't. But now at this point in time, I think we can, at least in our local areas. I'm not big on federal voting. I'm more concerned about my local areas and the policies and stuff in our local areas.
I like to start with the local area, by the way.
Yeah,
I think you start with what you can see. You start with what you can see around you.
Right.
Right.
Your household.
Absolutely.
Yeah, start in your house. So start with local voting.
Right.
And local voting is way easier to control. Because there's no electoral college. It's purely popular vote. Right. So it's way easier to control. It's way easy. And when I say local, I mean down to your district. You know what I'm saying? Like your city council district is so important. And a lot of people don't understand how important that is. They don't really get out for those because there's not a lot of money spent on those districts. Because especially in poor areas, they don't spend a lot of money on those districts. But those votes amongst those poor people put people in the district. There's a bunch of poor people. We got 99 neighborhoods in our city. They're divided into 9 districts. Most of those districts are poor. They got very similar issues, right? So you put together a city council that represents poor people, poor black people. Keep in mind, we live in a 73% black city, so most of my city is black. We got the same fucking issues. You being in this neighborhood, me being in this neighborhood don't make no difference, right? We just live a couple blocks away from each other. You might be divided by some imaginary line, but we the same folk, right? So we got the same issues. We bring those issues together. We talk to the city council. We get what we need.
And you just remind me of something I wanted to say a second ago. When we vote, it's not our vote alone that goes in. It's not just only the black people voting on that issue. So in issues like we were saying earlier with the negotiating, what we mean by negotiating, there's a bunch of groups that have, like the brother said, the same issues we like education. That's why I would like to go further. Education. I think we should push for like charter schools. Because I got all the kids in my house in charter schools. They teach them way better than they teach them at regular schools and use way less money to do it. So locally, that'll be something for the advancement of charter schools and stuff like that. I would put my vote behind that. Not just stuff on international, but guess what? It's all white people that want better schools. Next,
Absolutely.
That want better schools. And all of them gonna be voting combined with our black folks for this situation that affects our community.
Absolutely, because there's other communities that's going through the same things that we're going through, right? In other, they might not be going through exactly the same thing, but they're going through something similar. So in other words, if I look over into the Hispanic community, right? They're not rich either, right? They got bad schools too, right? They got crime over there too. They got high pregnancy rate, whatever we want to say is so bad in our community. They got them too. They didn't have the slavery. Yeah. So reparations would be
I agree, bro.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I mean, those are good things. Those are good plans. Folks been having them for centuries, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We have we have the power today, right now. If we could get all 40 million of us together right now on the same page, we have the power right now. With the small percentage that we have, we're 70-80% consumer spending, bro.
Yeah.
So it's 70%. Like bro said, this nobody's listening to all these fanciful ideas. They're not. They don't care. Especially these people that it's in their best interest to keep the system like it's going, to keep you running their system. So my point being is Brother James said, why are we focusing on the past? Because if we don't take a look at what we're doing, we'll keep making the same suggestions like we're doing now. What I'm saying is, I'll ask. Wait a minute. It was, bro. That's why people died for us to vote. That's why they was dying for us to vote. Why they was bombing Wall Street, Black Wall Street, and all of this, and destroying our stuff, instead of us focusing on our defense and building with our people across on a national level in Africa, Asia, the South America, wherever our people is, and pooling our resources there. But here's the thing I wanted to get to. We got to get. You can't come to the table unless you have something to offer. Nobody is listening to you with nothing to offer.
But you know,
and so like Bro was saying,
we had $1 trillion in economic power.
One, and we got votes.
Right, that's what I was getting to. That's my point. But that $1 trillion is not doing us no good when we're spending it and investing it in a system that we don't have inherent rights.
Okay, I got
right.
Or investment.
Let me ask you, is that system benefiting Chinese people?
One thing, I think that we are having conversations based on different premises, right? So I think that me, James, and Sebastian are having a conversation about immediate change in our communities, and I think that you and Jeremiah, I'm with you on that. I'm with Black nationalism. You know what I'm saying? I'm with all of that, right? I think that that's what y'all are talking about, and I think that you are conflating those two things as if they are simultaneously existing. And I think that we should probably separate these two things for this conversation until we have a nation that we can talk about. Let's talk about how we're going to operate in this existing nation. And I think that's what we're doing wrong at.
Let me right. Right now, I live in LA, but I'm from Birmingham. So I'm from Alabama. I live in Los Angeles. Right. I'm currently building a business that will do cryptocurrency. Right. Like, so basically my business mines cryptocurrency. I'm not building that business in the city of Birmingham. I'm building it in the adjunct city, a city right outside of the situation. In order for me to run said business, and so that means I cannot vote in their city elections, by the way. That's why I brought that up. I'm not a resident of the city. But in order for me to be able to run my business in that city, what I needed them to do was I needed them to cut me a deal on my power, right? Because my main employee, my main overhead is going to be electricity, because I basically just run a bunch of computers. Now, the biggest draw of electricity in that city is the Amazon distribution center. That's that big power draw. So they make a lot of money in their power selling it to Amazon. Well, I needed to get some power about that cheap, right? So I knew I couldn't talk to the power company, so I went to the city, the politics, because they buy power from a certain power company. So I went to the city. I said, hey, I'm trying to do this in your city. I want to run these things. It's going to require this much power. I need you to give me a discount on my power rate. You know, that city agreed to give me power at their rate plus tax. Listen,
but you had a whole business plan and a rollout for them to make that decision. They didn't just say, "Well, absolutely. Yeah, you know."
Wait, pause. This is what I'm getting to. A lot of the time, we are talking about a system that don't really understand. We are on the outside looking in and not seeing the change from the outside looking in. So we don't understand how much. I'll give you one more story, and I promise I'm gonna shut up. So I used to have another business that was on the south side adjunct to my city, not in Birmingham, a little white city called Homewood. Now, the first store I just told you was a black city, right? This is a white city called Homewood. That's a little south of my city. The first one's on the west side of my city. This one I'm telling you about is on the south side of my city. And I owned a business there, and I owned a restaurant. It's called Michael's. And we bought that restaurant from a white family that had been doing business there for a long time. We bought the restaurant. And they gave it to us in shitty condition. But we was like, it's all right. Y'all ain't charging us a lot of money. We're going to fix it. And so we fixed it up. Right? We put the elbow grease into it. We fixed it up. Well, eventually, my city, which is just north of where I was, said we would really like to have a family sit-down restaurant in a district that we're building. They put out a bid for said restaurant. I put my bid in for that restaurant. I would like to move my business to your city. They went through the process. It was tons of white businesses. I was the only black business there. My business was selected to move my business into the city. The city gave me $1.5 million to build out my business in their city. Right? You know who I hire in that business? Black folks. I hire all kinds of folks, but I definitely get to hire a bunch of black people. I don't discriminate at all. I get to hire a bunch of black people.
Let me comment to that, bro. Yeah, bro, I'm in the system, bro. I've been self-employed since I was 12 years old, bro. 17. I started when I was 12, but I couldn't really make moves until I was like 17 with the cleaning company. So, I was able to secure, I've been able to secure $1 million contracts with agencies like Comcast, Time Warner, MediaCom, all up and down the East Coast, putting young black folks to work. Got 18, 19-year-olds making 100, 150 grand a year more than their parents and stuff like that. That's all well and fine. That's all well and fine for you and I. And we can make moves. We know the system. We make systems. I mean, I do the real estate, so I got to deal with the contracts and deal with the city with the tax sale liens and stuff like that. And so, man, I'm very familiar with working. Right, it's beneficial, but what is that doing for us as the people in the nation? That's not.
Wait, let me ask you. It's beneficial to you because you learn how to do it, right?
Right, because we learn how to do it.
But if other people learn how to do it.
Right, if we learn how to work together and come and each of us,
but you succeed alone. You didn't have to work together, right? You've been doing this since you were 12, right? You figured this out, right?
About 17.
Okay. So you've been doing this since you were 17. You learned how to do this, right? And I'm saying, instead of telling people not to participate, you learn.
I'm not telling them. You said
it was a waste of time.
That's not what I'm saying. I would be a hypocrite. No, wait. I would be a hypocrite to tell people not to participate in the system. That's just dumb and idiotic. That doesn't make logical sense. I'm not saying don't participate in the system. Case in point, I was doing law enforcement at one time. I got shot. So I did, private, bouncing at the clubs, bounty hunting, all that kind of stuff. So I ended up getting shot. I didn't have insurance. So my job with it, and it was me moonlighting off duty, getting my hustle on. So I didn't have no insurance to cover me. Their insurance wasn't going to cover me. Put me out of work for a couple weeks and all that other kind of stuff. So, bro, I was able to come back from that and come up with the cable contracts and all this other kind of stuff. I understand how that system works and how the system works, and that we are able to use loopholes in the system, and sometimes they gotta play fair with you because of the law of averages and these anti-racist laws and all of that other kind of stuff. And so you play the system. But what I'm saying is us as a whole. None of that, and I didn't employ my little cousin and all of that. He dead now, shot by his other cousin. None of this. They were beefing or whatever. My one blood cousin, first cousin, killed my other first cousin.
Okay.
And it was probably over a female. But my point being is, and that's just a product of what's going on in the city, and not just in my city, but across the nation and all of our environments, bro. So when we get our little tip of the bag, and then we sit back and say, well, we made it and we good, and so the heck with the rest of the people is the reason why.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I know that's not what you're saying. I know that's not what you're saying, but I'm saying that's what happens in general, bro. That's what happens in general.
And I'm not general, right? You're not in general, right? I'm not in general. We're talking about how to change a system. Is that right? And changing the system happens one. I haven't
always been this way. So,
yeah, but you learned to be.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Right. So my point being, bro, is that with all of these resources, with everything, we have the resources right now. There's nothing stopping us but a simple vote for our people. Continuing to go, and that's why I was telling that other story for continuing to pay into this system, put our energy into how to manipulate this system and all of that. We already on the inside. We need some people on the outside that can see the bigger picture. This is why you got generals and stuff that don't go to the battlefield, because they got to see the broader picture. They got to make broader diplomatic moves with different nationalities and stuff like that. They dealing with the big stuff. Just like you as a businessman, people are not in your shoes. They don't understand when you got to deal with IT people. The bank is calling you at the same time. Payroll need to be done. Folk been called out. These people, you got unpaid bills. They don't understand that. They just go to work on a 9 to come home, and that's what they used to. But you on a different, because you can see the broader picture. When you go home, you are worried about the light bill. They are not. They just do their job. They go home. So you have that. You have that overall picture. That's what I'm saying. That bigger picture. It's no way that this system, which is tainted against us, and we've been trying to change it through voting. We've been trying to change it through electing representatives to this to the highest office in the country.
Schools. We've also been trying to clean up our own streets. We've also been trying to change it through Jesus. We've also been trying to change it through prayer. We've also been trying to change it through community outreach. We've also been okay. So none of it has worked en masse.
I agree.
Right?
So I agree.
We need to stop building schools, and we've been building schools for 60 years, and we still in the same. No,
we're not building schools, though. We're not building schools, bro. What are you talking about?
Oh, but we are.
Umar was supposed to. Umar was supposed to be.
No, that's one fellow. So many people who build schools, bro.
Check this out. If you build schools, building schools and still instilling the same philosophy in European Western civilization in your people, instead of training them to be a part of what we are building, when you should have a vision. This is why you should have a vision now.
Let me ask you.
While we're looking in to have your unique culture and still vote.
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Okay, so I don't see how that.
Well, because I never made the point that you shouldn't vote. That's not what I mean. I never. But you keep
going back to participating in this system stuff. I'm saying every nation that comes over to America in a capacity does these things. Why? Because it helps them.
Right.
Regardless of whether we
think
that historically it's done great for us or not. Today in modern times, it can help our community, especially locally. Like I said, I don't personally care about.
Bro, let me give you a correction, bro. Foreigners come over here, use the system, and send the money back home to their real community and to their real country. That's what they got to do, bro.
Wait. Here is your bro, Sam.
I'm about to break it down. Oh, you asked the question.
Okay.
And the question that you about to ask, I'm about to answer as well.
Okay.
So the real community is what I mean, and what that has to do with what I'm talking about is, instead of us investing into their community, be investing into our community. We're using their employment right now so that wait, I'm about to break it down, bro. We're using their employment right now. I mean, we're just following what's successful. We go, instead of having our heads down, we pick our heads up and learn the business instead of chasing the money, right? Okay. So if you at a carpenter shop, you want to learn all the tricks of that trade from the inside out, how to build the houses, but also how to be a manager. All of that, use that to your advantage so that you can come bring that back to teams and say, okay, now we got our own construction company, and now we can employ some, as opposed to as soon as most of our people. Right, bro. There are black on. I know there are.
No. Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay.
Right, I know they're black on. Right. Right. So,
once you finish, Brother Sam, I want to pass this to Brother James because I have let you talk. So I want you to finish what you're saying. I want to pass this to Brother James.
No, he can go. He can go.
Brother James.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that I'm saying is we have to make a plan. We're going around in the same circle when we're talking about investing in their system. I'm not saying hate them. I'm not saying wait a minute, bro. And what I mean by investing in their system is investing our time and energy in the voting. Even if you vote, I'm not against you voting, but don't put your faith in no vote. Put your faith in yourself. In yourself. I keep saying we got the power. But wait. No, I'm not saying not like I said, not to vote, but when you saying the only way we're gonna get change is if we vote and we can get a no, it's not. No,
you say the only way though, bro. Making up stuff that we say.
Yeah, I never said that.
We never said only way.
Nobody on this panel only vote, right? I think that what you're doing is great, right? I'm thinking that what I'm saying that if you add voting to that equation, now the fact that you're encouraging people to have their own business, right? Encouraging black unity and communityship, right? With that community, you want to be able to control your tax rates, right? You want to be able to control the people, the investments into the people in your community. You want to be able to control your parks and rec. You want to be able to control the hospitals, the police stations, who's policing you. You want to be able to control their education. And the only way that we have the ability to do that is to, one, create your own school. Another option is to control the people who are put into the Board of Education, who put into the police chief position, who's put into the mayor of your community. So now you can control the allocation of funds. From now, you can use what you're saying, the activism, and combine that with the political power, and now you have an actual sub-nation within a nation.
Hey man, I would like to ask y'all a question, right? I'd like to ask y'all a question.
Give Bro James.
James been quiet.
I've been shutting Bro James up, and then it's right on you, Jeremiah. I promise. I'm sorry, but he's been trying to get in. Go, bro.
But nobody's been more quieter than me. Okay, let's make that clear.
Right. He's been trying to say something.
All right, no sweat. You're right,
bro. You're right. Bro James, you have something to say?
Yeah, I was going to like historically we tried to do it other ways as well, and it's always been shut down. Black Panthers, we did it without a real political movement. That was more of us just worried about our own people. Garvey wasn't worried about all that stuff like that. He was trying to isolate over to our own people. We've had plenty of movements that popped up with us planning to get together, bring our own people together, throw our money together, and do something. All of that has fallen apart. So if everything that we've tried has fallen apart, why wouldn't we just take advantage of the opportunities in front of us? And I know the brother ain't saying don't vote, but I don't think anybody's vote is worthless per se. Like I'll say this on a federal level, I kind of feel that way. But when it comes to local, I just don't see it because, like the brother saying, if I can make sure that the cops that's patrolling my neighborhood live in those neighborhoods, they gonna treat the people in their neighborhood a whole different way because their kids gotta live around, their wife gotta live around, they gotta go home around. So they ain't gonna be so quick to pull that gun out and shoot. They gonna be like, oh, that's what you call his son. Well, you gonna get your ass home and send your mom.
Exactly. And you got
well, bro,
Jeremiah.
Yeah, man. Listen, I believe that ultimately there are heavy concerns with the benefits of the lack thereof with voting. Does that mean that a voting system should not be used? I think both sides are something that can be implemented. Our people need to be trained and their mindset need to be elevated concerning these things that are more of a concern to those in an ownership position. The majority of our people are not in an ownership position, so their minds and their concerns are different. All right, I don't give two shits about property tax. Why? Because I don't pay no property tax. All right, what I'm concerned with is jobs and the schools that my children are going to, and police brutality. These are the things that concern me. But a person who is dealing with property tax and dealing with business loans and dealing with those things, those are their concerns. You understand? So we have to be able to address.
Okay, go ahead.
We have to be able to address both sides of these particular concerns, because we don't have to neglect one in order for one to be promoted, man. You understand? So we don't have to totally turn our back on the voting system, because it ultimately it's not benefiting us. We don't have to say, like the brother just brought out those different particular parties, you know what I mean, that was just focused on the communities, which they made good and beneficial impacts. But we should be trying to do both. We should be trying to do both as we continue to build and work on the minds of our young men and women to start transitioning their thoughts into ownership. As we continue, and once they're making that transition, now these other concerns are going to become more important to them. And
can I bring up one point to you? And I want to give this right back to you so you can answer it, okay? If you're concerned about schools, how are schools funded? They're funded through property tax. So if your concern is a school, then you should care about property tax.
Well, the property tax.
At this point, I'm gonna hand it back to you. I promise. I'm gonna hand it right back. I'm gonna hand it right back to you. I promise. Okay? The thing about politics is you find out how these things are related, right? So if they start talking about property tax and you go, I don't own no property, I rent. That don't affect me. Yes, it does. That does affect you, right? So
can I say something on that?
Well, let me finish it now. I promise you can't. So what I'm saying is, when you realize how overlap we are, like for example, my brother Sam lives in Baltimore. My brother Jeremiah live in Oklahoma. My brother Kyle live all the way in Atlanta. I don't know where James lives. Where you stay?
Houston.
Huh?
Houston.
I live in LA. So we 6 brothers that live in completely different parts of the nation. None of us live in the same place. But all of us have similar issues, right?
Yeah.
We can all agree on some things, although our demographic is completely different, right? Here's what I'm saying. The problems that affect my brother in Houston, problems that affect my brother in LA or in Atlanta, right? So how am I trying to say this? So I can't see myself as an island because I want to talk about schools. So until y'all talk to me about schools, I can't talk to you. But wait, property tax is important, right? Or I want to talk about schools. So if you start talking about police, I don't want to, wait, we're gonna need to make it. All these things are related. They all go together. So if we're gonna hop into this, we have to hop into it full-fledged. No different than we do with the rest of our world.
But you're still not dealing with the corruption, man. You're still not dealing with the system within itself being.
I want to deal with that particular. Okay. So it's 2 pieces of it. One is the policy. The other is the politician. Is that cool? Does that make sense when I say that?
Yeah, both are of the damn devil. All right, go ahead.
Okay. So one is the person, one is the thing. I like how you said that, Bro James. Okay, so if there are corrupt politicians in the world, the thing about a politician is not a guaranteed job. We can literally fire a politician at will, right? Because every time they got to get their return renewed. If they're not doing what I want them to do, then I have to go out there and do the absolute dead level best I can to get them removed from office. And the only way I can get them removed from office, if they're corrupt and they're not doing the things that I think they should do, I am only one vote. So then what I have to do is go convince someone who did not vote last time to vote. Because I need this corrupt motherfucker out of the way.
All right, now I want to mention on that, and I just want to illustrate what you just said, bro.
Okay.
I want to use exactly what you just said to illustrate my logic, bro.
Yeah.
We are so inundated into this system that you keep saying that the reason why we vote and we pay our property taxes, what we should be doing is asking for an abatement and helping our brothers and sisters get $1,000 a year abatement and taking that to build our own damn schools.
How would we do that?
No, I mean, that's simple.
If my brothers got $1,000 a year, they wouldn't be spending it on the school.
Say what?
It's gonna be real. Most people,
Say what?
most of our people, if they got $1,000 check a year, they do the same thing they do when they get their income tax.
Go to the strip club.
Right, but hold. You got a point, bro. This is what I'm saying.
What you're talking about is not feasible. That's my point.
Well, if you let me finish it, then you will understand, bro. This is how it's feasible, right? When you have a representative government, we choose and vote for a group amongst ourselves, not a part of this political system. Separated.
That's not how our political system works, though. I don't know. I'm confused. That's literally how it works.
Let me finish, bro.
Okay.
It's not literally how it works. Is you elect a body of people to flow inside of that system. That's not what I said. Inside of
what I said. No, hear what I'm saying.
Okay, let me finish, bro.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Go for it.
What I'm saying is if you have a group of people, and it doesn't even have to take the whole 40 million of Black Americans in the country. If you get, let's say, 10,000 of those people, 10,000, 100,000 of those people that will come together and say, we're going to fight to get a decrease in our taxes. We're going to use our Black lawyers, employ them to show us all the loopholes and tax cuts, just like the other nations do. I'm talking about stuff that I've watched with my own eyes. Those astronaut. Yeah. So then what they would do, these are the people that you elect outside of the system. So you're going to take the money for them to build our schools. The people that you represent, that's going to teach them.
You're going to pay for the schools we built. Well, I'm asking. No. I'm gonna let you finish. I want to understand what you're saying. You're going to pay for the schools to be built yourself.
No, he's saying that the elected people that will receive this money are people that have made an agreement.
Where did they get the money from?
The brother just told you.
Bro, let me ask questions, bro. This is my show. Where we get the money from, bro?
Bro, if you, this is why in the good book it say here the end of the matter, because a lot of your questions I would be answering if you didn't cut me off.
Bro, I wasn't cutting you off. I wanted to lead the conversation a certain way. This is literally my show. I get to do that.
Right. I appreciate it.
Say it's your show one more time. Say it's your show one more damn time. Say it again.
It's my show.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Hey, look at the top right. This is Cold World.
I should have never agreed to come on this panel, brother. That's what I'm saying. I should have never made that agreement. Oh, it's live on my channel too right now, brother. Understand that?
Hey, absolutely. That's why I'm gonna do one on yours, so you can do that. My brother, I'm asking, where are we getting this money from?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
There are several methods for us to get this money.
Okay.
The easiest one is to stop spending it in other communities. Stop spending it at Chinese stores for the females with the hairs. Stop spending it at car dealerships with the European cars or whatever country cars or what have you.
Wait, one second. I want to dig into these. Are you saying that you're going to manufacture a car? Bro, saying, are you saying that you're going to manufacture a car?
No, bro. And these questions are really. I thought we was trying to build, but these
No, we
questions
are
are really
because
taking.
if I start spending with the European to buy their cars, I'm going to need a car. Where am I going to buy mine?
That was only.
I think
that was only one. That's only one part of this whole equation that I was giving you,
Okay, well,
so that you could understand.
Are you going to manufacture hair? Are you going to manufacture the car? If I'm not manufacture the car. Okay.
Yes, we have black farmers. We have black farmers. We got our own Bantu people,
and we got engineers too.
I think that we're overlooking the logistics behind this, because I'm with you, brother, saying like everything that you're saying. I think that everybody on is for. You know what I'm saying? I think that it sounds great. It sounds amazing. I think that sounds like that's something that we definitely should do. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying that to my core. You see my hat right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm with all that. You know what I'm saying? But we still have to deal with today and reality, right? Because it's going to take time for us to manufacture a car. It's going to take time for us to build an infrastructure to trade commerce. I mean,
not really. If the people that have money would invest in these factories in order for us to do these things.
But that's dependent
wait,
on.
hold on.
Listen.
Okay, so look,
I wasn't even. I was saying we got off of the whole thing. If we wanted to get these are viable solutions, which you guys admit, but you cut me off and one.
Go ahead. I was just asking about the solution. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. I just wanted to understand the details.
Right. Okay. So there's a multiplicity of ways that we can save on the money and keep the money in our own community. Like I said, the main thing, number one, just to keep it simple, is invest in your own community. And what that means is with another brother who's nation building minded, who's community building minded, who's his people minded, invest in him. If he got a headshot, even if you had to pay $1 or $2 extra to get it started off while he's in a negotiation process to bring prices down, you got black farmers out there. Instead of going to Giant and Walmart and all of these other kind of stuff, we can have our own trucks to support our own. This is
right.
This is not. You got brothers with their own truck right now. I know them. That's working for other people. I got a truck, man. I'm working for this company. I'm doing all these deliveries. They paying me X amount of dollars. You know what, bro? We're gonna pay you to run these farmers, that our farmers, the black farmers that's being given the bad seeds, that's being given a disadvantage and all that other kind of stuff, to support them to bring it to a corner store or a grocery store that's owned by another black brother. You see what I mean? And then that money is going to a black.
I want to stop and just give them one second. I absolutely love Baltimore accent. I just want to stop and say that. I absolutely love the way Baltimore speak. Wait. I want to let him finish what he's saying. I want to let him. I just want that was a pause. I just absolutely love Baltimore accent. And I know you think I don't have an accent. You have an accent. We all have accents. I absolutely love Baltimore accent. Tell you, brother.
Okay. So these are the things that we can talk about. The questions that you have is cool, but when you're dealing with a problem, when I was in business school, they taught us, what is it? The 5 points, the 5 stages or steps to solve a problem or to come up with a solution. Oh, it's the 5 steps to problem solving stage. So we have a problem. You propose the solution. You watch it. You make. You come together as a group. Everybody put in on how we can come about with the solution. We implement those things. We see how those things are working. Change the things that need to be changed. Build on the things that we have. These are simple things that you know what I mean. We learn. So this is what we should be doing now. I'm just laying out the framework of telling us what we need to do. This is an economic system, so it's going to be based on economics. So it's going to take a consensus on our folk. This is why I said you're going to need your own internal government. Yeah, you can still have your election.
Wait. This is important. Go ahead. And I'm only asking you this question because it's so important, so key to what you're saying.
Right.
In order to accomplish this great work that requires a system of government of your own and infrastructure of your own and manufacturers of your own food. We still haven't talked about cars yet, right? But that's going to require infrastructure, manufacturing, government of your own. Okay. The first thing that we need to do, because you said it best, I need to diagnose the problem. I need to come up with a solution to the problem. The solution to the problem should be always in chronological order. Logistics is my thing. Should be in chronological order, and you should always start with the things you can do easiest.
Correct.
Problem solving is my thing. So when I'm looking at a problem, I start with the easiest thing to do. Now, the killing part about the easiest thing to do is it doesn't do the most work. Does that make sense? So in other words, if I'm trying to start a business, one of the easiest things I can do is go get my LLC. It's important, but it doesn't do a lot of work. It's super easy. It's important overall, but it doesn't get my business going.
Yeah, it just establishes.
It just establishes the business. You go. It's so super. Wait. I'll let you finish. I want to finish this one second. So the easiest thing we can learn to do is learn to cast a vote.
That's crazy, bro. How did you get that and associate that with that? It's for us brothers. It's all four of us right now, and the folk watching on this grid, I'm not sure how many folk it is. Say, you know what? Brother Sam got a good point there. We're going to all come together, and we're going to use those that's in our sphere of influence to convert another vote. Bro, this could happen in a week, and we could triple it.
Why hasn't it happened yet? I asked that question a long time ago. Why hasn't it happened yet?
Wait a minute. Let me think. Because of this, what's going on right now? When I'm trying to talk about giving a plan, we talking about illogical stuff. How you gonna work on stuff? Wait a minute. Let me finish, bro. What I'm saying is that sounds good that you have an LLC and all of that. But before I do an LLC, I check out the market demographics in the market. I make up a business plan that's based on that demographics. I don't just say, oh, I got an idea, I'm gonna run and start me an LLC. It doesn't work that way. You gotta take and see what your competitors, what the market is doing, what your competition is doing. You're gonna need to prove your resources. So it's a lot of things, which is what we should be doing now. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that this is gonna happen. What I'm saying is the game plan has to be laid out.
You talking past me. Let me clear this up.
Y'all mind if I say one thing? Okay, so in this conversation, I think that we are still not talking about the importance of voting.
Right.
like everything that Brother Sam just said, I agree with that shit. I'm sorry, I ain't mean to cuss on your platform, bro, but I agree with that.
You cuss on this platform. I fucking cuss on this motherfucking platform. The fuck I want to fucking cuss on this motherfucking platform.
All right, well, I motherfucking agree with everything that motherfucking Sam just motherfucking said, right? I think all that shit is fucking necessary, right? Important. I believe that shit. I want this shit to happen right now, right?
Yes. The fuck now.
But this is the thing, right? So once these businesses get established, these businesses have to pay tax, and so the only way you can change the tax rate is to vote. The only way you can change the qualifications for unemployment benefits is to vote. The only way
I don't think. Do you know how business works, bro?
Go ahead. Yeah, you come right
back. And I'm not saying that to overshadow what you're saying, Brother Sam, because I am with you 1,000%. But I do not want what you are saying to overshadow the importance of the conversation, because I do agree with you. But the conversation that we have is to inspire people or to inform them on the reason why we need to vote. Because the point of voting is to encourage the things that you just said: the economic growth, the educational growth, the shit, everything. Not the military, but the police protection in the community. Everything that you just said, I agree with. I don't think anybody on this panel is disagreeing with that. I think that
you want to know what you could do today, bro? You want to know what you could do today? We can set up a meeting where we can vote on choosing some people from each group in the state today. We can do that right now if you want to do that. Right now. And you want to know what the problem is why we won't do that is whatever your hesitancy is in not doing that. That's
Wait, I vote, so I pick a representative every time.
No, you're not listening. You're not listening, bro. You're not listening, bro.
I didn't say us having a government liaison.
Wait,
bro. That's what the brother
wait, bro.
said. He's
Listen.
not against that.
Okay, cool. Well, if you're not against it, whatever. What I'm saying is this. We today can decide right now, even if it started with us four. We keep talking about, well, I'm going to vote on this one. Instead of us trying to give folk up to vote in this system, give folk up to change their own mentality. Give them up to vote for their own internal system right now.
That's what I'm saying, brother.
That's what we're saying, bro. We are literally talking about voting for our internal system, our community. If you vote on hold on, bro. If you vote on your local, you are selecting the mayor of your community. You are voting for your
bro. I'm not talking about mayors.
You are voting for your board of education. You are voting for all of these things. That's all we saying, bro. Vote for these things and use that in combination to everything that you're saying.
Bro, James, go ahead.
Bro, I said that 45 minutes ago, bro.
I want to be fair to his position. The brother sounds to me like he's saying that instead of us having delegates in there, we should have liaisons in there. We should have government liaisons. That is not part of the system. People that are not part of the system that we pick to go up and talk to them on our behalf.
Let me ask this question about part of the system. When you say not a part of the system, what does that mean?
I'm characterizing right first.
Yeah, what do you mean by not a part of the system?
Somebody outside the system, not that they've given us the vote for, but somebody we pick from our own community to go up on behalf of us to speak for our community.
Is that what you're saying, brother?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, so would you run for that? Would you run for that?
That would be a no.
You wouldn't run for that. Okay. Do you know somebody that you suggest to run for that?
Yeah, I do. I got a brother. I got in mind.
Here's my word on camera. I promise this to you, my mother, and to whatever's above me, bro. If that man runs in your city to do something, I will definitely donate to his campaign. You have my word. You have my word.
But see, this is what I'm saying. I think you're missing me, bro. I'm not talking about nothing to do with this system, bro. The only thing that this individual, I'm talking about a group of people that's not tied up in City Hall all day, that's not tied up in Capitol Hill all day. What they doing is sitting in the room trying to figure out how to build and deal with issues and addressing issues that we need to address in our community.
Okay, let me ask a question about that. How would they address those issues in your community if you live on a land? Wait, I went down with the question. If you live on a land mass that is organized into cities and counties.
What do you mean?
Okay, so in other words, let's say right now in your community, your specific neighborhood, right? Your specific neighborhood is a part of a city and a county and a state, right? Right. In order to address the issues in your community, I have to address them on the city, county, and state level, right?
Right.
Okay.
So, no, we don't.
I'm listening.
No, we don't. We don't have to address. It's no legislation. Well, I mean, it would be some legislation involved as far as, I'm sure it would be some regulation, but we would have a paid representative, a paid attorney that come from our community to address us and inform us with of the issues or what have you. But what I'm saying right now, if we got 100,000 people that we said, listen, we're going to show you how to save $10,000 a year, $20,000 a year, $40,000 a year, depending on what your income is. We're going to show you how to do that for free. But the only thing that we asking is you invest those savings back into building up black banks, black grocery stores, a black government that's going to be a real government that we create that can be able to have the money. So when we come to the table, we got investments in China, just like China invests over here.
Okay,
the major investment in the real estate market is a foreign country called China.
I want to ask you a question. Okay, so let's say, because it sounds like you're talking about building a city. It sounds like a city. And
Well, that would,
use the word city.
but that would come later. I'm talking about just
what
building
we're
a
saying right now
mind.
is establishing a government, right? Am I funny?
Right.
Okay, so a government has to have what they call a domain. Is that true?
Yep. Gotta have its own land.
It has to have a domain.
Right.
Yeah. So you're talking about building a city.
Right.
Right? Right. Okay. So that city would then have to be a part of it. No,
not initially. What did that? Listen, bro.
Okay, wait.
Listen, bro.
Before you start over, let me show you what I'm understanding, and then take me a piece at a time and show me where I went wrong. Don't go further. Stay with me, okay? Okay, so maybe we start as a neighborhood. Right? You start as a neighborhood, and you elect a representative from that neighborhood to go to the city to tell us what's going on, and then we work within what that is till we build a city, and then you work with the county to see what's going on till you build a county, and then you work with the state to see what's going on until you build a state, and then you work with the state, with the nation to see what's going on until you build a nation. Is that what you're saying? Does that make sense? It's a long process, but it makes sense. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying, it probably is. I'm not even sure how we got that far, but what I'm saying is we were trying to focus on what we could do right now.
Right
that
now.
was the point of where I was. So those are things down the future, cities and all of that other kind of stuff. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities represented here. If you represented your city, that brother represented his city, I represented my city, Brother James, we get representative from other cities to on the same mindset. And each one of us is building in our cities. And what we're building is going toward the corporate government that we've chosen, which would be us, I guess. I'm saying.
What are they governing over?
What do you mean? The business affairs of the nation.
It's not a government without a land.
Okay, so or you can be a government in exile. That's possible.
Well, you can be a government in exile.
Okay, so what I'm asking is, if all 5 of us right now said, okay, let's get together and we're going to create whatever this is you're talking about, what are we governing over?
The people that agreed to be a part of the government.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, wait. Don't move any further. I like that as an answer. The people who agreed to be under the government. Okay. What is that called?
Citizenship.
Wait, a citizen of
A nation.
a nation? Are we built? Okay. So we're hopping right to nation building right now. Here's what I'm saying.
Hold up, man. I think you're muddying the water with your questions, right? Now, I understand, but let me just chime in real quick, right? Because the simple thing is what we want to do is, if we're campaigning for new ways of thinking as far as problem solving, what you said is your area, right? So now we have to organize and create this collective body who believes and agrees with the movement and the principles of the things that we're trying to change. So let's say if that's 5,000 people.
Stop. What you just said is you're trying to campaign to a body to collectively get them to agree to a thing.
Right.
You're lobbying for votes.
Right. Listen, brother, again, we've already hold on, brother. We've already established that there's nothing wrong with votes. It's something wrong with the system in which we're voting in. We've already made that clear.
To participate back in this system at some point, even in your system.
Listen, that's fine.
The folk that lobby for vote. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jay. Sam. Go ahead, Sam.
The folk that lobby for votes, the lobbyists are paid by what? Are they paid by an individual?
Yes.
Or are they paid by? No, they are paid by corporations. That's who the lobbyists are paid by. You know what a corporation is? It's a collective group of body of folk that they start. You see what I mean?
No, wait. Co-brothers are lobbyists. They create corporations so that they can spend their money in lobbies. They're just people. They literally are funded by people.
Come on, bro. We could pull up what a lobby. Everybody here knows what a lobbyist is, bro. A lobbyist is a representative for a specific group of people, not one individual, for a specific group of people, usually a corporation, a corporate entity
Corporation is just a corporation is just a person by law.
Yeah, right.
Person at law.
My point is that you got a group of people that's been invested in that corporation, right? They invest, they got stocks, they got shares, and so they become a part of this separate entity, this legal entity that operates individually from everyone else and that has advantages that an individual do not have.
But the corporation has no advantages that a person doesn't have. A corporation is a person at law. A corporation is a person at law.
A
so
corporation
they have exactly the same rights, and benefits that you have. We just
actually there's certain opportunities that only go to businesses, bro. I'm in business funding, bro. You can't go to the bank as an individual. I just told you business funding. Did you hear me?
No, but bro, that's a fund for a business person. But a person can go get funding. I can go to get a personal loan, or I could go to get a business loan.
But those are two different things, and you should know that.
All right, so
no, they do not.
Bro,
all right, so hold on, man. Let me just read the definition of corporation, right?
In my personal life, I have $1 million worth of assets, and if I have an 850 business score in my business life and $1 million worth of assets, I'm asking for the same thing. What they're going to ask me for in the bank is, what's your business plan personally? What's your business plan as a business? Personally, I might want to fix my house, so I give this much for your house. As a business, I might be saying I'm trying to start a business, so they look at my business, but this is the same thing. The same thing.
It's not, bro.
Let me just read the definition of corporate.
Let me break down this business for him real quick, bro. Because I'm sure obviously he doesn't understand the power of business funding and the difference between business funding and personal funding. Okay. When you have business funding, true business funding doesn't report to your personal credit. If you are if you are personally responsible with your personal credit, that means you're using less than 25%, no more than 30% of whatever your limit is. So what I'm talking about, if you want access to maximum capital, then you're going to go through the business funding approach where you can use 100% of those funds, and it's not going to negatively impact your credit report, as opposed to having access to only.
Listen to what I just said. You never argue what I'm talking about. What I just said was a business is a person. A person.
Right, and I didn't disagree with you, bro.
Okay. So in my personal business, like my literal, like my house, or my car, or my clothing, or my food, I go to a bank and I say, I would like a personal loan. What they do is they check my personal credit and my personal income. They say, okay, what are you going to do with the money? Well, I want to fix my house. They say, okay, well, how much is your house worth? Okay, well, we can loan you up to 80% of your house is worth to fix your house, because we know what it'll be worth when it's done. Okay, so that's that process. In business, they do the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. The only difference is how we register these. We register a personal social security number in 9 digits. We register EIN in 9 digits. We just put 2 in front of the EIN number and 3 in front of the personal number. But the process of loaning is the exact same.
And bro, that's called a straw man fallacy, bro. That's a logical fallacy called a straw man argument, bro, that I didn't make. I just said that it is the same thing, but with the statement that I was addressing is that you said it functions the same way, and it doesn't.
I missed that. That's what I missed. How does it function differently?
I just told you, bro. You have a lot more leverage. You have a lot more leverage with business funding than you do with personal funding. Also, once you separate your personal credit from your business, you don't ever even need to use your personal credit score. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, bro.
If I separate my personal from my business, I also don't need my business score to affect my personal credit. This still operates the same way. If I'm using business credit, I'm using business credit. If I'm using personal credit, I'm using personal credit. They are separate, but they are equal. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, I'm not arguing that, bro. Can we get back to the point? Because I don't even know how we got there. But my point is that, unless you have a unified body with some assets and some money, you can forget anything that you're talking about. And it has nothing to do with voting. You ain't going to vote your way to freedom. I think the last 400 years then showed us that. I'm a realist.
About voting the whole time, though. Like, this is what I'm lost at. I want to ask you a very specific question. No. I want to ask you a very specific question. In order to do any of the things that you're talking about doing, will we have to vote?
No, we don't have to vote inside of the American government.
How are we going to pick this government? How are we going to pick these platforms? How are we going to pick these representatives? How are we going to pick the tactics that we use? How are we going to pick the logistics to put it together? How are we going to do any of that outside of voting?
You done, bro? You want the answer? You're going to let me give the full answer and listen to me, so you're going to ask me the same question over again? Okay, cool. All right. Now, here's the thing, bro. This is how we're going to do that. The same way you build a business, well, you should be building your business, right? You get a business plan together. You choose a group of core people to start with, right? Y'all incorporate, come up with a separate identity, because you do know the government of the United States is first a corporation, right? A corporation, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, Hans.
Right.
Yes.
So just like the government of the United States is a corporation, we got to take care of the business in first in order for us to be able to even for the government to hear. These folks ain't hearing nothing but that cha-ching and what kind of assets and political and military power you have. With us not having no military power, we're gonna have to have some assets, some money, and some unity to where we got enough backing by our people to stand behind us. If you attack this one, you're gonna have to kill us all.
I'm with you.
Until we get to that point, then yeah, you're gonna build up, then the Black Wall Street gonna come tumbling down again. They're gonna bomb or whatever. But if by that point we are connected with the folk that's in Africa, with the folk that's in Jamaica, with the folk that's in Hawaii, and we are unified, and because we're bringing something to the table, we're not just going and asking them, help us, save us, please, let us vote, let us vote. So we do need to vote, but that vote need to be amongst us and have nothing to do with who the heck gonna be the governor, the mayor of this system, what law, and then you know what? Once we get this entity, call it a corporation, call it a government, whatever, and you don't need a land for this, call it a corporation, call it a government or whatever, then you just like the rest of the world. Just like it's working for the rest of the world. Just like it's working for the rest of the world. We can go pay this brother $200,000 a year, $1 million a year to get in there and lobby for us.
That's all I was saying.
And to pay people off and bribe them and do whatever else be done, just like the rest of the folks get down. And that's how you get it done. It's not going to happen without unity or money. It's just
that's all I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. And all
no, you saying vote to change the system. I'm saying right now.
That's not what I said. I literally said, in order for us to pick our platform, I literally said this. In order for us to pick our platform, in order for us to pick our representatives, I literally said this. I just went through that. You told me no. Then you came back and said we got to vote for that. It just happened,
bro. You're talking about voting inside of the European political system, bro. Rewind this video, bro. Because you know you are.
Everybody heard me. I literally.
Yes, I agree. Then there's no more argument, because I agree. If you're talking about voting outside of the European system, I'm voting for some HR bill number or some bootleg black or white or green or whatever the heck color he is, that's a part of this European system, then I disagree. But if you're talking about we need to vote among ourselves and have a democratic among ourselves outside of some democratic political party that's linked to the United States, I'm with that all day, every day.
Now, let me ask y'all this question.
Last question. Rustin, let's say we get all those things done. We get every piece of that done, like the Native Americans. Would you want us to have a representative in the House of Representatives?
Yeah. Of course. You need somebody inside. Yeah, you need you. Like I said,
no. No.
Can I finish? You said. Let me make sure I heard you right. You said, should we have folk inside of the electoral system?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and we should have judges, and we should have Congress people, and we should have all of that. But you know what? We should be building them outside of the system.
That's all we've been saying.
That's all we've been saying.
All we've been saying, bro. Like, we agree with everything that you saying. Sam, King, look, we agree with Sam, let me do. We agree with everything that you had saying, bro. Like, I want to see more black businesses. I want to see us more well educated. And what you just said, it proves that we need to vote, because once we establish our own communities, we have to be in charge of these communities. And the only way we're gonna be in charge is we gotta vote.
But we're saying it a little bit different, bro. We do. That's where we agree at. But where we disagree from is voting for people that's already a part of the system. What I'm talking about, and yes, wait.
Yeah, he didn't say that.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay.
No, I literally asked you if you would run. Remember me ask you that. Would you run? You're not a
no, because the reason why I wouldn't run, because I know I would be wasting my time. Because if I don't, let me tell you why.
I was asking you, would you run so I could pick someone that was away from the system?
Right. I understand.
So
here's the thing.
To pick someone that's not in the system. My whole premise,
bro. Right. I agree. So unless that person is grounded into an external structure, they're going to be corrupted by the system.
But we are.
See what I mean? Right, we don't have that structure though.
I'm saying that's why I asked what
That's what I'm saying.
I then said I would donate to that campaign. We're going to create the system to promote Bro Sam. You said I don't.
Yeah, that's all we've been saying this whole time. Like, if we want to have our own community, right? In fact, let me give you something that you may be relating to, right? So in the Bible, it says, "Do not put a king over you that is not one of your brothers," right? And what we're saying is, take one of your brothers, boost him up, get a political backing behind him, vote for him so he could push forth the agenda. Now you got a person that's on the city council. Now you got a mayor potentially that's pushing for your agenda.
But hold up, bro. How are you gonna do that? And how you gonna do that? And you're not the majority within your community.
Just told that to do it. My brother Sam just
Bro. Maybe y'all not understanding my question. Maybe y'all not understanding my question, because we're not the only ones voting, correct?
Right.
Okay. Wait. Let's deal with that, right?
You're trying to get over a nation, bro. Sam trying to build a nation and within a nation. That's not the same thing.
No, I'm not talking about what Sam is trying to build, brother. I'm talking about, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this system that exists already, in which you, brother. So I can't ask my question. Let me just be quiet. Let me just be quiet.
Wait till we finish this, and then we can talk
God
about that.
damn, bro.
Sam is talking about building a nation within a nation. That's what he laid out. He talked about getting a corporation together, getting a corporate platform together, building our own representatives, raising our own representatives to a level so that we can get to the point where we control this part of the community, then get to the national level, being a part of the Senate and Congress. That's what Bro Sam just laid out. And I'm with Bro Sam on that. I agree with every piece of that. I'm just saying, in order to do any of that, we got to vote. That's all I'm saying. You're saying, hey, separate from that, we're not going to get enough of what we need out of that. We need our own completely separate nation where we don't have to deal with none of these motherfuckers. That's different. But in order to get to that point, we got to get to the point where we can at least get into Congress. Ain't no way in hell y'all going to go from being some niggas on the internet talking shit to being a nation without going through the steps. This is why I keep saying logistics is my strong point. And I agree with Brother Sam. Brother Sam is saying something very, very logical. What he's saying is, hey, start this out as a small corporation. Put a couple people together, raise up some people to get people to vote for. We get people to agree with the platform. We start to culminate under one platform. This is going to be our representative. It's going to start as being a representative by these neighborhoods, just this community. We're going to put that's called a district representative, by the way, in our current European system. I know we don't like that term, but this is a city district representative. So we're gonna put together. We're gonna say, hey, we need this in our system. Boom, we're gonna do the pieces of it that we can ourselves. We're gonna elect a representative, and that representative is gonna go to the city, right? And we're gonna build on that. We're gonna put an even bigger corporation together. We're gonna get even bigger. Now we're gonna take over the city. Now we got a whole city government. We are now part of a county. Right, and we are working. We're still doing our thing, building our thing in our own community. Still behind one platform, we get another brother that's gonna go represent us in the county too. We can take over the county. This is the logistics. That's how you do that. You can't hop from being some niggas in 5 different cities to being a nation of your own tomorrow. And my brother Sam explained that very well.
Right, I agree.
I agree. And I agree.
But here's the, bro, let me give you an example, bro. I'm basing this off of actual statistics. Here in Baltimore, the Ashkenazi Jews 100 years ago was in the hood with us.
Mm-hmm.
Right next to us, bro. Right next to us. And it was just a small group of them. You might see 6 or 7. The next thing you know, they got established, came in. Now you got 10, 15, because they stick to their own. And in the space of 50 or 60 years, bro, now they own a large spot place out in the I mean, miles and acres. They got their own community out there. Did they go to the government? Did they go to the government and say, give us 100 acres of the land? No, they didn't, bro. What they started doing is building community centers in each one, which they call synagogues. Mm-hmm. Their synagogues act as their community center. Okay. So the people bring in the money. The synagogues is offering welfare. They're bringing their doctors in so that they can take care of people for free or for a reduced cost and all of that, so that they're not dependent. And guess what? They build them their own schools and teach their own culture and their own tradition. And guess what?
They do that.
Wait a minute. Watch this. They pay for their own police department. Like you got the hood where people are dying at Park Heights and Northern Parkway. As soon as you cross over Park Heights and Northern Parkway, you got cameras, you'll hear gunshots and all that. But the moment you go over there, bro, like they got that. You're not going over there with that. They got that. They own all the gas stations. Wait a minute. Before we get to that, I'm showing you what is possible in a short period of time from a small group of people. So this is not like a fantasy or some kind of theory, a hypothesis. I'm actually watch this span out. And now these people, now listen, they was living in $30,000-$40,000 homes, just like the hood do. The folk in the hood, $30,000-$40,000 homes. Now they're in $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 homes, middle class neighborhood. They went from the hood, and that's in 50 years. How did they do it? That's what I was telling you. They put the community centers in there. They started collecting money from the folk. You see what I mean?
Who paid for the community?
I honestly don't know who paid. I guess they put together that thing. I guess how they was paid for. Well, I mean, you can come together the same way we buy real estate. I get 4 or 5 brothers. You put up 10 grand. I'll put up 10 grand. Get some money from the bank or whatever, and make it happen.
Wait, bro. It's very important. Do you think they put that money up themselves? Because the thing about community centers, and now if it's a synagogue, that's a little different.
Yeah, I did. That's what I'm saying. The synagogue is the community center, bro.
Okay. Well, wait. So if it's a synagogue, there's a certain tax break that they get for being a 501.
Right.
Okay. So that means they're still operating within the system, ain't that right? The way they're able to save money, they save money on taxes, ain't that right?
No, what they're actually doing is using the system. That's why they just busted all of them folks with that big ring, with them scamming people, showing their people how to get the welfare.
I'm talking about how they built the synagogue. I'm asking a favor.
I'm telling you how they built the synagogue. They used the system. Anything that didn't get from the system, they wasn't worried about you. Now, of course, they had their experts, the ones that they didn't pay for, their lobbyists and all of that, to focus on the politics. You focus on the politics.
So what you're saying is they use the 501c3 system to create a nonprofit that they was able to move money in and out. Is that true?
Right, not just nonprofits, for profits, and all of that. Because then they
put them together in a nonprofit. Ain't that right? Then they was able to do the for profits.
Right.
Okay. So basically, the structure that already exists, they didn't go create a new structure.
Bro, that's a straw man, bro. That's not even an argument I'm making.
No, hear me out. I'm just walking through this. I'm not saying that's the argument that you make. I'm just talking through my argument. Okay? So they use the 501c3 system to create synagogues. Now, we have 501c3s in the black community right now.
Now, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure if they 501c3 or not. I would imagine that. I would imagine they don't have to be, but I would imagine that they are 501 or at least
smartest to do the
or at least the majority. But no, a lot of the religious world is moving away, and they was doing that 20 years ago when I was pastoring. Okay. A lot of them was getting away from the 501c3s because you make more money through the selling of your books and all of that, and you can endorse political candidates, and you can get into the politics and all of that, which you can't do if you're a 501c3.
It's a 501 from your LLC. So what you do is you build up a 501, create a separate LLC where you can do all that. You can sell your books. You can get involved in politics as an LLC. You don't have to move your 501. The 501 is like a bank for you. You put money in there that you ain't got to pay taxes on. You then do your for-profit shit under an LLC. The church still operates as a 501 because I don't want to have to pay taxes on all this money that we're moving around. Okay, so you start a synagogue as a 501. You create an LLC that's a for-profit. That's what I'm saying. Pool the money together in the 501. Right. First it into LLC. Those are the for-profit. I'm with you still there. But all of this stuff that is being done in that community that you just watched, get some advancement. You just said you watch this with your own two eyes. You watch that happen through this political system.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It didn't happen through they used the political system.
Okay. Let me check what. Yeah. You watch them use this political system.
Yeah, you think them Jewish folk care about your government and all of that? They build their own community. That's why they say you can kill each other. That's how they do in Maryland. You Negroes over here can kill each other, murder each other, do whatever you want to do over there. But you cross up over here, and we will make sure you get the different.
This is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You're arguing the same point I'm making. We use.
I don't think so, bro. I think we mostly on the same point. We mostly are saying the same thing, but it's different. It's a little bit of nuance.
You said they use the system. I said they went through the system. I'm sorry. Let me use your word. They utilize. They use what they could get from the system.
But the difference is, bro. Listen at the difference, bro.
Okay.
The difference is the mentality, bro.
Okay. Wait. I'm with you on that. I agree with you on that. So that's not a difference. That's not a difference. I agree with you there. So we have no argument. Right? What you're saying is they utilize the system in a certain mentality to build their own.
Right. That was their whole goal from the beginning. They not coming in asking you for nothing. And I mean, they will. They will. Even if they ask you, and this is what I'm saying, even if you ask, even if you vote, make sure you got your own system that you're doing something. I mean, this is just simple logic. You don't, when you're in a fight, you don't throw one punch, bro, and hope to knock somebody out.
I said that 45 minutes ago. I said that exact thing, bro.
Right. So this is why I'm saying to you, like this is what's all around the world for us to all come back to the same conclusion that we have a system that is in place. We should learn to utilize it to our benefit. That's all you're saying. That's all I'm saying.
I do. Yeah, I agree. But what we was trying to figure out
Go ahead, bro.
is what we do today. And that's what I thought this whole thing was for. What? I'm sorry, say again.
No, I had stopped.
I'm sorry, say again, bro.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. You go ahead.
No, but yeah, that's what I thought we was doing, and then we jump back to futuristic things. I was prepared to discuss, and that's what I was trying to discuss. What we do today, how is this feasible today? Because we had, and I think we lost Brother James, but Brother James was saying, we can't focus on the past, we got to focus on the future, and all of that. Yeah, He's right. We have to do both, though. I disagree with that. We don't focus on the past. We learn from our mistakes, in our plan for the future. But there certainly has to be a plan that's outside of this system of government, because I'm looking at 400 years of us been voting, begging, pleading, getting people into positions, sending out kids to the Ivy League schools to get them into the system. Yeah, I want my child to be a lawyer. Yeah, I want my child to be a judge. I know black judges. I know them. I've sat in the same church with them. And I don't see them affecting any change. What I see them doing is being swallowed up by the system and saying, shucks, I can't beat them, so I may as well join them. So I'm going to sit up there and scam my people right along with these Sheila Dixon. That's what happened to her. You think she's the first person stealing money as a man? No, she saw the government and the rest of the people. The whole system is crooked from the beginning. These politicians are there to make their own selves fat, to make you think that they're doing something good. So
that steal.
That does what?
That does not steal. Do you know any politician that does not steal?
No. But listen, bro, the people.
Bro, Sam, stop, please, bro. Give me a
I said no. I said no.
Okay, so you don't. Every politician that you know has stolen.
I think all of them are crooks, in my opinion, from my paradigm.
Yes. I'm gonna bring a politician on here tomorrow. I can personally point to you to hundreds of politicians that have never taken a dime.
That's what they say, bro. And I can show you a video of 100 more that said they never took a dime and wouldn't take a dime while they were actually taking dimes.
You know how we catch them taking dimes? We look at the book. We don't
Bro, even beyond whether they taking money or not, show me which one of them stopped the violence. Show me which one of them stopped our little young brothers and sisters from getting murdered in the streets.
No way a politician can stop you from shooting someone. That is not possible.
I said the police, bro. Did you hear me?
No way the police can stop you from shooting somebody in the street.
Bro, the government's stopping the police, bro. The police. The government. Yes. Whatever political
the government can stop a police officer from shooting in the street.
Yeah.
Really?
There's no way possible.
Bro. But there could be stiffer policies that are put in place for the violation. For the violation of killing unarmed people, brother, instead of giving them a damn paid vacation.
That's very true. Now I'm with you, brother Jeremiah. You are correct. We could give our stricter punishment for police who kill. That's very true. I'm with you, but that would not stop a single soul from pulling the trigger. We offer the death penalty for niggas who kill in the streets now. That stop the nigga from shooting somebody? Hell no. The worst sentence I can give is death. That don't stop niggas from shooting people. There is nothing in politics that changes the hearts and minds of men.
Let me ask you a question. If the next police officer that killed a black person or beat one of our sisters or stuck his hand up in her stuff, acting like he's looking for something, you supposed to be calling a woman officer to be searching. The next one that do that, you put him in a room with a bunch of brothers like myself or her brothers or her sister, and if he beat her, let them beat him. If he shot one of us, put him in a room and let some niggas beat him to death or shoot him to death and kill him to death, I bet you that would put a big damper in those racist slave catchers from killing and murder. I bet you it would.
I like the fact that you just said kill a nigga to death. I ain't never to kill a nigga to death is different. I like that. Kill another nigga to death. I fucking with it. Okay, here's what I'm saying. If you are trying to create, and I got to get off because I've been on this way so long. But if we are trying to create some primal system of justice, there's a reason that we got into democracy and the rule of law versus a democrat, like a pure democracy, which is the mob rule. There was a reason that we got into that. But I'll get into that's another conversation. I don't want to go down that road. I understand what you're saying, bro. And what you're saying is that people abuse power. Right? There is never going to be a time in history. I don't care if Jesus is king. I don't care if Martin Luther is king. There is never a time in human history where human beings will not abuse power. I've never seen it ever happen in life. We can read through the Bible. We can go all the way back to the beginning of history. People in power have abused such. There will never be a place where that doesn't happen. The cool part about this is
hold on, brother. Christ didn't abuse no power, brother. Don't lump him in there. Okay. Don't lump him in there because he ain't abused nothing.
Okay, that's my assumption, and you disagree, and I'm going.
You damn right. I thoroughly disagree because you can't prove it. So how can you have that assumption?
I want to get us to peace. I was just saying that.
Don't say nothing about my sweet Jesus, brother. It's gonna be a problem. You damn right. You damn right.
I'm sure Timbuktu, Mali, Shanghai, Ghana. I'm sure all of those empires and institutions had some corruption as well, bro. But we still was able to build great civilizations based off of our unity. We're the greatest power.
And you can go to Ghana, you can go to Mali, you can still go to those places. They still have black governments, and they are democratic governments, and they still abuse the power in some places. Right, that happened since the beginning of time. That will happen as long as human beings are greedy. There is nothing that politics can do to fix that. That's not possible. Right? What politics is designed to fix is the law, not the people. The law that governs the people.
Right, and the fact that we don't have these laws shows a flaw in the system of law here in America.
Handsome, listen to me. A hate crime is a federal crime. You know why they made a hate crime a federal crime? Because people kept beating you up.
Nah, because black people start fighting back.
You know how they fought back? By votes.
No.
Absolutely. This I can show you. Like this, that had to actually be passed. It's a law. Like
well, that's a crazy ass statement, bro.
Like I can show you.
At one point, when we get into this discussion about these things, I'm with you on trying to use these things to help us. But I'm not with you when you get to talking about things of the past because it has not benefited us, bro. That's a fact, bro.
I'm talking about hate crime, just hate crime. Someone had to vote that into law. There is no way you can argue that. I can show you who voted for what. That's on record. The hate crime being a federal law is on record. I can show you what senator, what representative, how they voted, when they voted. They voted that into law.
What's a hate crime, bro?
A hate crime is a crime that is sponsored by hate. So in other words, if I kill you because you're black, if we can determine that someone killed you because you're black, or they punched you because you're black.
So is the prison industrial system a hate crime?
Wait, pause.
You did, brother. Yeah, brother.
That is the most played argument of all time. Is the prison industrial system disproportionately black? Yes. Has it been?
I got a question.
It is definitely a hate crime. The prison industrial system is 1,000% a hate crime.
Well, then you should vote to add that bill.
Go ahead, Sam.
And that hate crime, since that hate crime bill been introduced, what is the impact on the impact that it's had on this white supremacist racist beast we call the American government?
It sent a whole bunch of white people to prison.
I don't care how many of them went to prison. I'm talking about the effects, the positive effects that it's had in stopping or curbing the racist system. That's inherent in the system.
The hearts of people is not what politics are here to change. I keep saying that. I don't know how many times I can say that. There will always be racist people. Then
why are we voting there?
The system itself is racist, brother. The system itself is racist.
Your own. Let's look at Haiti. We treated them in a racist fashion. They are a nation in and of themselves, but they are poor because we are racist against them. Let's look at Mexico. They are racist. They have their own nation and they still experience racism. Racism is going to exist. That has nothing to do with the government. It's not the same.
Yeah, but the racist policies that are in place that benefit them is the government's responsibility.
Right. This is what I'm saying to you, Jeremiah. You agree with me. Fight against the racist policies. You can't fix the racism. You can fix the policies.
Yo, but do they exist is what I'm asking you, brother, in this system.
This is why hate crimes came to be. This is why desegregation laws came to be. This is why you can go to school.
Desegregation is not beneficial to black people at all.
What it did was, listen, bro.
It didn't help us at all.
That's not true, bro. That's not
Give
true.
me one example of how segregation helped us. Desegregation, how did it help us? How?
Before that, could you have owned the same house that the white man owned beside you?
Brother, I don't give two shits about living next to a white man at all.
Talk about property value.
I don't care. I don't care about that. I much rather live amongst my people.
Now you're in my feel. Now let me speak to that. In your black community, your value is going to be 30% less than your white neighbor.
So if I go live next to the white man, if I live next to the white man, I got 30% more value. Ain't that true? Ain't that true?
No, what you're going to do is bring his you're going to bring his value down.
Right.
I go buy a house next to a white person. It's the same house that's in the hood. Which house is worth more?
What? Say that again?
If I go buy the same house in the hood as I buy in a white neighborhood, which is worth more?
The one in the white neighborhood. The one in the white neighborhood.
If you live, if you living in it, it might be worth a little bit more or something in that neighborhood. But the point being is, it's not going to be the same as your neighbors. Even if they cookie cutted it and made it at the same factory, all amenities the same, it's not.
Hold on, let me ask you. Hold up, Sebastian. Let me ask you a question, right? So if we take a white neighborhood and we don't change nothing about the community, we don't change nothing about the houses, we just take white people out of that community and put black people in there, is the property value going to go down?
No.
Man.
What?
God damn, Sebastian. God damn, man.
You never heard of gentrification, bro? You're not familiar with gentrification?
That's what gentrification is about. You're talking about putting money into a neighborhood versus taking money out of it. Let me show you what I mean. If I take a bunch of poor white people and put them in the neighborhood, and a bunch of poor black people and put them in the neighborhood beside, those houses are worth the same amount.
You done lost your mind.
Let's look at it.
You have absolutely lost. I've been in real estate over 25 years, bro.
Statistics don't talk about it. We ain't got nobody.
25 years, bro.
I understand. So you saying that you went to crack house, you went to meth houses for white people that was worth more than middle class black houses?
Yes.
Okay, show me that.
I would like to see that shit.
Look it up right now. Look it up right now. I just saw a study that showed that two communities, right side by side, one with a red line around it, values 30% less, bro. What are you talking about, bro?
Can I
in the neighborhood, bro?
Can I live in that community? Can I live?
Maybe. I don't.
Oh.
Maybe. But as soon as you send in your application for a mortgage, what they're gonna tell you, the European next door, he gonna get an appraisal for $300,000, while you gonna get about 180. I mean, about 280.
My white neighborhood. What are you talking about? All my neighbors are white. I have the most expensive house here.
And what does that mean? And once again, you're taking your one individual circumstance. What I'm talking about is the national statistics, right? The statistics in the nation for the average brother, not just individual folk who might have got slipped through the system. Oh, you ever heard of outside of the bell curve, bro? So you make the outside of the bell curve. I'm talking about inside of the bell curve, bro. I'm talking about the community of African Americans as a whole.
One thing you cannot deny, Brother Sebastian, is that these things and these circumstances truly exist, bro. Just because you have a few token people like yourself who are token, and
I keep saying that the politics won't fix the hearts and minds of men. I keep saying that, but
we're not talking about that. We're talking about the system, brother. The system.
What hearts and minds of men?
I would like for him to pull his interest rate up beside his neighbors. That's what I would like for him to do. And I guarantee, and I don't care if you got a 10,000 credit score and they got a 500. In most cases, their score is going to be higher than yours.
I own their house. I bought my house at the lowest interest rate in like 20 years. But that's because I bought it in a depression. Nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. My
I don't mean they couldn't refinance. They got the homeowners and all of those state people are refinancing at them rates. I do mortgages as well. So just because you bought yours 5, 10, 20 years ago or whatever, you bought it at a depression or whatever, the rates could be lower now. It don't matter. That's what you call refinance. But the point being, bro, we're talking about the community and not any individual. We're talking about the norm. What's inside of it? What's the norm for the community, bro?
I'm talking about the law. You're talking about how people utilize the law. I'm talking about the law itself,
which creates the loopholes for systemic racism to exist, brother.
Bro, if you find out that your neighbor beside got a better interest rate than you. If you find out my neighbor beside me got a better interest rate than me, all of our things are the same. You can sue them for discrimination. Housing discrimination is a real thing. That's why there are lawsuits about housing discrimination.
Actually, that's called redlining, and it's been illegal for, I mean, decades now, and it doesn't stop the banks and stop people, even government officials, from admitting that it still exists.
Redlining is not housing discrimination. Those are two separate issues.
But the housing discrimination, I post
about as far as the interest, as far as your interest rates and all of that is called redlining. I went to real estate school to know this stuff. What are you talking about, bro?
Housing discrimination. I'm talking about. I'm talking about two completely.
How do we get from the interest rate to the discrimination?
A red line has to do with property value, not the interest rate of the house that's been paid in the situation. A red line it has to do with property value, and it has to do with the rates that you're offered as a homeowner in that area. You want to invest some money on it and then pull it up? Yes.
I only talk stuff that I know, bro. If I don't know, I shut up and listen. When you hear me talking, it's because I'm able to go to some example. I've been through this, had that experience. Otherwise, I shut up and listen and learn.
The line itself has to do with the property value line. The people in that property value line may be offered a lower interest rate, but the red line itself was a property value line.
Bro, I have no idea, and I don't think you really know what you're talking about.
Bro, I buy and sell houses every goddamn day. Like, what you think you talking? Okay, I just bought a house. I just bought one.
You buy a house. I buy houses.
I buy houses every day. I own several houses.
And I've been doing this
in several cities and states.
How long you been doing this, bro?
For years.
What's years? How many years, bro?
Very.
Okay, I've got 25 years of experience in. I was a licensed and real estate agent. I'm about to break it down for you, bro. Licensed and real estate agent with Co-op, which means I had to go to school and learn about redline and all of this stuff that you have no clue what you're talking about, right?
You're saying a red line is interest rate. That's what you're saying.
No, that's not what I said. I said redlining has to deal with the property values and the type of mortgage terms and conditions that you get, which includes the interest rate.
You restate what I said. The red line is the property value line. People within the red line may get a different interest rate. Are you disagreeing with that?
Hey, James trying to get back on, man.
Your interest rate is not dependent on the property value, bro. Your interest rate.
Exactly. You're making my point. The interest rate, the property value is not connected. The red line is the property value. People within that red line may get a lower interest rate. Are you disagreeing with that?
Yes, the red line is not no property value, bro. What are you talking about?
Red line has nothing to do with the property value. What's the red line?
I didn't say that it doesn't have anything to do with the property value. Generally.
Listen, bro.
Hello?
I'm listening, bro. I'm sorry.
Are you still there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
No, I didn't say that it didn't have. Yeah, I can hear you. I didn't say that it didn't have to do anything with the property value. What I said is it does affect the property value, but it also affects the interest rates that you pay. That the once they see, and it's not just limited to areas. Now, if they're doing if you're doing a manual, you may get away with it. If you're doing a manual approval, yeah, they're gonna go by your zip codes and all of that. But especially if you're going into your local bank where you sitting at, they gotta take your ID, and a physical person is making that decision. You're gonna get less money. Your property gonna be valued less. You, as an individual, regardless of your property value, going to generally have a higher interest rate than other normally European Americans, and that's a fact.
I did not disagree with
that. No, so then that exists.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that goes back to the original point, brother.
No, it doesn't.
Oh my God.
No, I, oh, making a red line.
Man, wipe the sweat off your forehead, man. You in the hot seat right now, brother. All right.
No, bro, I got my heat on.
In the spring, man, got his heat on in the spring.
What I said about red, it's cold out. What I said about redlining was that randomly enough, it's really cold. It's like 55 degrees. What I said about redlining is that redlining has to do with the property value. The people who live within a red line may experience disproportionate lower rates. Right? But the way that we know that the line exists is by the comps in that area. That's why we call it a red line. That's how we know. We're not counting what the interest rate was in the area. We're counting the comps on the houses.
We're talking about how racism is affecting the community.
Politics is not designed to fix racism.
I ain't talking about fixing it. I'm not talking about fixing it. I'm talking about proving that these things exist, brother.
No one ever argued that racism existed.
No one is talking about racism, brother. We're talking about your race affecting the property in which you live in, brother, and in the community which you live in.
I absolutely guarantee, I promise you that I understand that redlining exists. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it doesn't. I am defining what the red line is. The red line is property value.
So it have nothing to do with racism?
Yes.
I hope everybody sees this. Redlining absolutely has something to do with racism.
Right. Now, hear what I'm saying. That if we wanted to file a suit about someone redlining me, I could totally do that. The law is still the law. Are there racist people who do racist shit inside the law? Yes. But the fact that we're able to file a suit about that, because we put representatives in place to make that illegal. Yes, that people still do illegal shit, but do I have a recourse against their illegal shit? Yes.
Have you ever been redlined, bro?
No, I have never.
And what happened when you go before the judge, this European judge that's backed by the European white supremacist system? I've been there. I've filed charges against a police officer that wanted to continue to harass me. You know what they told me to do? You know what they told me? It's better you shut your mouth because they can make it real bad for you around here.
Probably good. That's
that boy Sebastian said, "You there, right?"
I think people look at the news and what I think you need to just figure out a way to deal with it because you don't want to target on your back. So that's what you're gonna get. How do I work that out? And these are black officers.
Attorney General, I would go to the brand new Attorney General. The Attorney General decide what the state investigation was. That's a really good thing to do. If I was you, I'd be looking for a better Attorney General. Somebody. We got a black state's attorney right now. I didn't say they had to be black. I said better. It don't matter the skin color. The skin color. That's gonna be fighting for what you talking about. They could be purple. They being black don't help.
So ultimately, man, we're speaking about these things to highlight the existence when brothers try to act like this stuff don't exist.
Nobody,
we should.
No, we're not. No, we're literally not.
All right, so let me ask you directly, Sebastian. Let me ask you directly. Do you trust the system, Sebastian?
No, I want to control it because I don't trust it.
I don't trust it. And when I first spoke on this panel, that's what I was speaking about in regards to people have lost trust in the system.
You should control it.
How do a minority, bro? How do minorities control a system, brother? Help us out.
One more time. Just like my brother Sam said. My brother Sam laid out perfectly for you how you can control your system. My brother Sam laid out the what you started by getting a small group of people control the things what you elect representatives to go and talk to the city. And you then build a coalition of neighborhoods like yours. They can go and form a coalition of representatives from that city. Now you have control of your city government. Now you have majority because there are more poor people in the city than rich people. Now you have control over your city government. Those people have to keep their jobs. They want to keep a job. They want to keep their constituents happy. That's the way that works. So you go from having control over your city government, you continue to build these coalitions. You have control over your county government. same thing that all y'all are talking
Let me ask you this: does poor white people endure the same hardship as poor black people?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. But what we do is we build a coalition on the places where we agree. That's what coalitions are about. You're never going to find anybody who goes through the exact same hardships as you. You and I have a lot of things in common. We have a lot of things that are not in common. We talked about that yesterday. But I'm still black, just like you still black. Just because what I drive or what you drive ain't the same don't mean we don't have something in common. Listen, so we build our coalition on the things that we have in common. That's what voting is about. We find a common issue so that we can push forth that agenda. You're very right, though. You're not going to get the poor white people across the tracks to agree with you on every issue. Absolutely not. But they're also not going to get you to agree on all the issues either. What's so funny about the white vote is historically the white vote has pretty much been 50-50 in any major election. White vote pretty much splits right down the middle. You know who normally makes the deciding factors in those? Non-white people. Non-white people. Swing of vote. Oh, that's exactly how that works. That's the funniest thing about that.
Well, I mean, but the minds of those non-whites have been poisoned through the belief in the system itself, brother.
This is why I'm trying to get you to understand, not to believe in a system, but to control said system. I just told you how to control it. I by no means said, take your hand. What you're doing right now is really believing in the system. You're saying, I won't do anything. I'll just let them do what they do. Whatever they do is what they do. That is a great belief system. That's the same way you believe in God. You literally say, whatever God says is right. You gave God that power. I'm saying you're offering them the same.
Now he got that power. He got that power. And I'm okay with it.
Giving these people that power. God got that power. You're giving these people. But whatever you say to do, I'm just gonna live with it. I ain't gonna say nothing about it. Just do whatever you do, because I don't, whatever. I ain't gonna let it bother me.
Bro. Hold on, bro. When I came back on and I spoke about both of these things need to be used. Did you hear me say that, brother? Did you hear me say that we need to be trying to implement these things on both sides? Didn't you hear me say that?
You know what? Let me apologize.
Thank you, brother.
You're right. I am wrong.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let me go back to my initial point. The initial skepticism, not necessarily that you promoted it, but the initial skepticism was because I do not understand because I do not trust the system, I am skeptic to participate in it.
Right.
But in the overall, what you're really doing is saying, I am skeptic to participate in it. I do not participate in it. So whatever you guys decide is just gonna be what
but it's not an alternative to say whatever you people decide. So I'm turning from the system and I'm looking into the community itself and working towards organizing within the community to make those changes in our community based upon one family to another. Right?
So basically, you're trying to build a smaller unit of government, which I think is great. I agree with this earlier. Creating smaller unit of government. Don't trust it just to the city. Don't trust it just to the state or the county. Blah blah. Create neighborhood government. And you totally do that. It's not impossible. You create neighborhood government. You create an elected official from your neighborhood government to go and talk to the bigger body government. That's exactly what Sam said. That's exactly what I agree with. I don't want to relitigate. But you're saying the same thing. Create smaller units of government so that we can participate with the large units of government. I'm with you there. I agree with that. But all of that, every piece of that is going to require your opinion. Every piece of all the shit y'all just said, all the shit I just said, all the shit, every piece of that is going to require voting. And if you say, I just want to vote in my local elections, just in my neighborhood elections, just to pick a representative, that's fine. I understand that. Because there really is a vote for your local elect, like just your representative that exists. You can literally just go vote for your district representative, not even your state district, just in your city council. You have districts. You can pick your district representative. If you say that's all I want to vote for, I ain't gonna vote for nothing else. I don't agree with that per se, but at least you can just, so start there. Start with what's happening in your neighborhood. That's great. But the more you participate in this, the more success you find, the more you're going to realize, man, I'm spending money on the federal level. I'm spending money on the county level. I'm spending money on the city level. I'm spending money in my property taxes and the community level. I want to have something to say about everywhere my dollar goes. And the more you Come to understand where your dollar goes, the more you're gonna want to have some influence on it. You're gonna start voting in elections because you realize, man, counties tax me too. But what are they doing with my money? I need the county to do such and such on this road. Because some roads are not owned by the city, they're owned by the county. I need to do this. I need the state to do this. So freeways owned by the state. As the freeways messed up, I need to talk to the state so we can get this patch of freeway messed up. Because when I get off the way, I'll be about to tear my fucking tire up. You go talk to the city about that, they say, hey, no, about that. But in our road, never belongs to Alabama. See what I'm saying? So the more you get into this, the more you understand. Oh, these levels of government exist for a reason. I should utilize every one of them. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I think if we have this conversation again, man, I think we should definitely be bringing in more of some of these facts so we can look at these actual numbers. We can look at the numbers within the community. We can look at if all people in a particular community vote one way, how would that sway a vote? Look at those numbers and look at those people who are the race of those people who are representatives, right? Look at the track record of those representatives.
I looked up your city. You're in Oklahoma. You're not really in Oklahoma, but I looked up Oklahoma City. I found out that the people of Oklahoma City, that's about 14% black, or 14, 15% black in Oklahoma City, right? So if you have to look at the overall percentage. Now, the one thing about being black is we're not going to all vote the same way. Just because I'm black don't mean we experience the same problem, right? Or we got the same drives. Right? So it's almost impractical to say if we got all the black people to vote one way. That'll never happen, right? Because black is not a monolith. Black people are not going to always vote one way. Now we do tend to vote in a majority of one way, but that's not all of us. There's always going to be somebody who goes in the right saying Donald Duck, whatever. That's the point. What we're saying is that this is easy to look up. There has not been a single Democratic president to win white man vote more than 40 years. That's a fact. These Democrats that have been getting the office have been getting the office on the backs and hard work of black folk. Black folk. The black vote has put many of people in office. Now the question is, what did we demand of them when they got it?
A lot, and they ain't do a damn thing.
Show me the demand and how did we push the demand? Let's talk about how you make a demand in office. You don't make a demand by putting a president up and saying, okay, now do this. That's not how that works. The president does not listen to me. The president listens to Congress. So besides just voting in the president, I've got to make sure I got the representatives in office that's going to push forward the agenda. You get what I'm saying? I got to make sure I got the senators in office that's going to stamp that agenda. This is multifaceted. This doesn't just work with just, I'm going to vote one person in, they're going to fix it. That's not how that works. Because we have an elective body. We are a representative body. There are tons of people saying tons of things in tons of ways. So in other words, I have to pad my what am I saying? I have to pad my debt, in other words. So I need everybody on my side. I need my state representatives on my side. I need my senators on my side. I need my district representative on my side. I need the president on my side. I need him to put judges in that's on my side. I need attorney generals that's on my side. I need public prosecutors that's on my side. I need all of that. In order to do that, I got to vote each and every one of those situations. I got to control it from the vote. The thing of it is, if they want jobs, they're going to have to come pander to your vote. If they know you're going to vote against them, it's one thing if you're not going to vote at all. I don't care what you do. If you come in to vote against me, you hurt me. You're not voting, don't hurt me because, like you said, you have to whoever's in office. But if you say, I'm going to get a coalition to vote against you, all of a sudden, they have to start listening to what you're saying because they can't get the job if too many people vote against them.
Well, man, listen, bro. We've been on 3 hours, 18 minutes, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love you guys, man.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to re-adjourn on this thing at a later time. I appreciate everybody, man, and what everyone was saying.
Y'all thank y'all for tuning in, man. Thank Sam for coming out. Thank James, man. Appreciate you here, Mike. Always good to holler at Kyle. Y'all take it easy, man. We'll catch up on another conversation about something else another time, man. Be good.
All right, peace and blessings.
Okay, bro. Appreciate you having us on.
Absolutely, man. Peace and blessings to y'all, man. I'm off live now. I appreciate y'all.
All right, family. So before we get out of here, man, I just want to kind of talk All right. So that was definitely an interesting conversation. I wasn't able to watch you all's comments, those that were watching on my end. It's it can become frustrating, it can become confusing. We're going from one end to another, weighing on brothers' opinions of things. But I think that if we continue to talk about these things, we could really try to figure out ways of the best ways to make an impact on our community. That's what this conversation was about, right? Understanding politics. Can politics help our community positively? Can it make an actual change in our community? Can it make a change in our school systems? Can it make a change in our unemployment? Like I told the brothers, man, I feel like both things need to be done. It needs to be work that needs to be done within us focusing on the community. And then once the community has a collective idea of how they want to make impacts, and then we turn to certain representatives that we select to go and speak for us in these different arenas to make an impact in our community. So for me myself personally, I'm just continually trying to become more informed because I never participated in voting, and it's like I said, because of the frustration behind the lack of benefits from it. So if we say, have there ever been any benefits from voting? Yeah, there's been some benefits, but the benefits doesn't equate to the oppression and the suffering and the corruption that goes on within the voting system. If they're creating ways to create red lines and alter votes and create and change systems, if they're doing that now, so now we increase our voting, what are they going to do then, right? So my thing is not to throw my hands up and say don't do nothing. My thing is that we should be turned to the community and trying to make positive impacts in our community, not just being an Israelite, but also working and joining with Christians and Muslims that are operating in the community that are of our race, and trying to figure out ways of how can we collectively make a positive change in our community. Is it important? It is, because Black Christian, a Black Muslim, and an Israelite, we all have children that operate and function in our cities and areas in which we live, man. So, it's a decent conversation, man. Decent conversation. I appreciate everyone tuning in. I see you all in the comment board. A lot of comments, a lot of people interested in this conversation. So I appreciate you all. We're gonna come back. We're gonna get those brothers on again. Try to introduce other brothers into these particular conversations. That time I just went on to that brother's platform. That's what he asked. So we're going to be trying to get other people involved to further this conversation, man. So you all stay strong, stay blessed, stay encouraged. We know we're living in a tough time. Corona is really affecting us. And, we just got to continually pray to the Most High that He opens up the doors to get to some level of normality for us, or just bring on the destruction. So either way, man, we're praying for deliverance. And if that deliverance comes by whatever means the Most High wanted to come by, like I told the brother, I'm all for it. I'm behind the Most High, whatever He decides. I am His servant. I'm under Him. I'm not here to tell the Most High what He need to be doing. I guarantee He has a great plan for us all. So keep the faith. Stay encouraged.